Greetings and welcome to the Talk to Me America show, where the world wants to know what you have to say. So call me when I tell you to, and tell them like it is. Alright, before I go any further, I want to make sure everybody can hear me. So I'm going to look at all the chats right now. Hello, Pastor Chatelet. Mohap, 451 Actual. I see you guys in the chat. Big Mike wants to know what you have to say. Yes. Awesome! First time in a couple of weeks that that Odysee didn't make me reset everything. All right. I don't usually have any problems with YouTube, but then again, you just never know. Making sure I can get a touch of everything here. I don't want to mess with... perfect. All right. Salty Mad Jameson, Lady Ninja, thank you. Welcome to the show. All right. Greetings and welcome to the Talk to Me America show, where the world wants to know what you have to say. So you're going to call me later and tell them like it is. I'll try to keep up with your chats and all of that, and et cetera, and et cetera. Thank you for the library coin, Pastor Chatelet. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a Thursday, another Thursday come up on us, 7 p.m. Central Time, so it's time for the Talk to Me America show. I'm Goddess Claus, or Lord Goddess, your hostess. Thank you for clicking on my little acre of the internet today. Let's see. Vincenzo has a message for you. He told me to tell you Merry Christmas and that there are a lot of twos in today's date. It's 12/22/22, 2022. So, wow, I wonder if that's of any actual significance numerologically or numerology-wise as far as that goes. Math are hard. All right, so yeah, Ayo from Vincenzo. And Merry Christmas as well. Lots of twos. Epic day. All right. So far, I'm having a pretty epic day. I was able to find everything that I was wanting to cover in my, I guess you could call this a yearly type roundup. Mine's not actually as long as some of them are. And of course, I'm hoping that somebody will call me and talk about all of this stuff. Mr. Tizo, welcome to the show. Limited Access, thank you for being here. She is on YouTube, and she asked me to send you a message. Let's see if I can pull this up so I can see everything here. All of these things. I really do need another screen. I've got two ginormous screens, and I need another one to do this. In fact, if I want to do any more like D-Live, or not D-Live, Pilled, which I actually do eventually. I love the people over there. In fact, they were very welcoming. I actually watched on Pilled for quite a while because I don't remember why. Just because it was a smaller thing, and the chat was a lot less. I could read the chat. People were chatting, and everybody was so cool over there. So one day, she actually has a message for you. Please send my love and Christmas wishes to the gang on Odysee. Bruin Backhand, welcome to the show. Merry Christmas to you. Welcome, welcome. I hope you guys have had a festive holiday. Let me check the Rumble over here real quick. It's working. No chats, though, or anything like that. Okay, very good. Hooray, hooray. Actually, I was a little bit nervous because I actually had a blue screen of death this morning while I started work. It was like, I just... booted up. I had been, had my little tea and everything like that for the morning to start working, writing the script and everything, and all of a sudden, there's the blue screen of death. It's like, oh no, don't start that shit again. Because you guys remember when I first started this, I'd be off of the air. I'd go off the air. Either they took the power off on me, or my computer was crashing every 5 seconds. So don't start that shit again, Mr. Computer. Of course, that just goes to show you that I need to upgrade, obviously, if it's still doing it. Actually, it's been almost a year since the last time it actually crashed. And then, of course, that was because of the fact that everybody's name escapes me all at once. Well, one of the awesome dudes in the pond sent me the correct memory chips for my computer. I hadn't had any problems with it, so whew. Sparky, welcome to the show. Yeah, math are hard. Math are hard. 451 actual. What am I looking at there? 451 actual. Oh, couch fort. Cool. Is that where you're watching me? All right. Some plugs, of course, all of my favorite people from the let's see, from the pond, and of course our based lineup of people. I know, and I see that it's not only on Odysee anymore. We're on Odysee, Rumble, and of course Pilled.net, I believe it is. I like that place, and the people over there are pretty rad. So 451 actual, and of course Pastor Shadley. Once again, thank you for the library coin. Red Dawn Radio, DJ Brandrack, the Drunken Rocky, Raynoth. Of course, don't forget Drunken Rocky's on right after me on Odysee with the White Pill Experience. I have some levity today. In fact, some of this is kind of levity. It just, I make some jokes. You'll have to listen because I have very, very dry humor. So you have to listen closely and carefully when I tell jokes or when I do a broadcast. In fact, sometimes I even surprise myself. I'll go back and listen to something and it's like, did I actually say that? That's fucking hilarious. But it takes you a week for it to register. So I'm one of those. Yeah. Drunken Rocky and the guys ain't so much. Instant gratification laugh-wise as far as those guys go. And of course, just listening to them laugh is actually infectious enough. So, of course, Raynoth, the Roundtable Distraction Tuesdays and Saturdays, I should be able to start joining you guys again after the first of the year. I'm sorry I've been missing it, but you guys know my situation. Especially during the holidays, like I say, not only is family and all of that stuff becoming more and more time consuming. Not that I'm complaining, mind you, but the entertainment business actually gets pretty busy right after Thanksgiving for some reason. Everybody wants to have live music for their parties and their Christmas stuff and their especially New Year's stuff, etc. and etc. And of course, everybody wants to. A lot of times, if you do private parties, they've got their own schedule that you have to go by and have to. Yeah, lots of requests as far as trying to learn new music and things like that as well. Of course, the pay is worth it in most cases, especially if you're able to do private shows or corporate or casino like we are. All right. Axe Truth, DJ Based, shout out to everybody. Of course, Kevin from the Chaotic Coffee with Kevin. Once again, I'd like to thank him. Even if you're not here, somebody will tell him, I'm sure. Thank you once again for being on my show last week. It was very informative. Very, very kind and nice person that's going through a horrible time when it comes right down to it. But he's become a brother in Christ as far as that goes. And these folks are the ones that actually God wants us to go out and seek anyway. So he's a lovely human being. And I hope that everybody supports him in what he's wanting to do as far as that goes. Because he has, like I say, he has become, seems like he has become a brother in Christ. If not, he is anyway. You guys know the drill there. Okay. Once again, Kevin, thank you so much again for being on my show last week. In fact, his show has actually, and not that this really matters, but it's kind of important because we're trying to get his message out there with regard to last week's show. It was one of the most viewed shows that I actually had. And now I don't know how much he advertised it or sent it out or anything like that, but I only tweeted it like once or twice, and I think I put it on Gab. I'm not sure. Like I say, I'm not great with the social media. I have enough trouble keeping up with the videos and the all of that. So any help from you guys sharing a lot of this stuff is much appreciated, of course. Let's see. Space Cowboy, welcome to the show. Making sure I'm not missing anybody. Check Rumble once again. that's fine. All right. Of course, I'm going to finish my shout outs here. Let's see. 2 minutes to midnight, Magical Trevor, Reverend Rant. He's been on some actual fire lately. If you follow him on Twitter, in fact, he's got people starting to call him a liar now and things like that on Twitter. He's actually starting to get some vitriol. That's how much on fire he's been on Twitter. But he's been answering people like Schiff and Swalwell and Elizabeth Warren, and then of course there's this one girl. I don't know how she shot to fame, except for the fact that she spouts the leftism. Actually, not even quite wittily, but wittily. Actually, I just said it fast. It sounded like whittling. But this person from Jers, whatever it is, she, in fact, somebody posted that she was banned. Evidently, she, I'm not real sure. Maybe she followed Olbermann's lead with regard to, you know, I'll post this stuff anyway. Well, yeah, live and learn. All right. Look, I am on air. Oh, okay. Actually, I was just getting ready to show you that. Rougarou, thank you so much. You took the words right out of my mouth. You better not have been while you were kissing me. I wouldn't allow that anyway. Let's see. All right. Reverend Rant, some guy from Maine, he's actually on right now. So I never get to see him, and I've seen some people that watch both he and I. Does his music really go along in the background with what I'm doing, or just the way, like if I do something that you're not particularly interested in, I can see switching videos and everything, or switching channels? Yeah, there you go, channels. It's even easier on the internet because you just click on the different things that you have open, the different tabs that you have open. All right. And of course, don't forget the man with the plan, Mr. Rougarou. My Cajun friend. Thank you. I'm on air. Oh, speaking of Flip City, they used Vincenzo at the end of their show the other night. They had a circus show or something like that. It's Circus Hour last Friday night. Whoever put that show together did a superb job. Much improvement over the telethon. But then again, what can I tell you? You keep learning as you're going, and technology is just that way. You can't stop learning about it. So, good job, good job. Oh, Rocky. Once again, don't forget to go and see his show after mine tonight. I'm sorry that I stayed over last week, but again, Kevin's message and Kevin's situation needs to be made aware, because this kind of thing. They don't care how young or old you are; they just want your money, and etc. and etc. And I've actually got maybe a possible, but this seemed really weird to me. But I'll show it to you later. I'll show it to you in a minute. I've got a whole thing here going and everything. So, but there might actually be a. All right, man. If you saw him right now, he looks. You can tell he's had strokes and everything. That poor guy. But depending on your personality or something like that is how you know who Tim Curry is. Of course, once I saw him in Rocky Horror back in 1980. Yeah. I watched almost everything that he was in. Loved Tim Curry. And it wasn't actually because he played Frankenfurter, but it was in a way too. But he was just almost like you could tell a bad accident, horrible, just horrifying at one point, just kind of like this, but you can't look away. But I figured that was one of his best movies as far as his vocal abilities went. He had really good, and of course the movie was fun too. When you, like I say, I was one of those ones that went to the theater and dressed up and threw the toast and the newspaper and had the squirt guns and all that other mess, screaming back at the screen and acting that out. I played, in fact, I either played Riff Raff or Magenta for some odd reason. I guess it's because I couldn't tap dance. No, he's not dead yet. He's not dead yet, Salty Matt Jamison. Fog, welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, of course you know how to support the channel. I do need to grow like the rest of you guys. I'm not actually able to grow as fast as the rest of you guys. Of course, I'm going to have a few more hours to work on this. So again, I'm going to grow a little bit in January. I don't actually have a buttload of new stuff supposedly planned, but I mean that stuff comes to me as I'm going a lot of times too, because I'm always going. So you know how to support the channel. Of course, don't forget, I'm finally on Cash App because I'm trying to get away from PayPal, but I understand if somebody has to absolutely use PayPal. That's fine for now. It's down there in the descriptions and everything like that. Just click on the links and stuff like that. I've also got, like I say, I've got the Cash App. You can scan it. It's right there on the screen below me. Let me see. What am I supposed to show you? And of course, if you... Okay. If it's too small to scan, this is my ID. $, capital D, capital G, DGddss. It couldn't be easier. I don't know if they've got any kind of a monthly plan or a whatever. If you want to subscribe, that's fine. Okay, and of course, thank you, Rougarou. I'm actually finally up on the schedule. We were talking about that already. The man with the plan. Him and MBB put that together. It's interactive. Wrong suffix. What can I tell you? Let's see. I got to tell you, now that I got that Cash App on my phone, I don't let it out of my sight at all ever anymore. I can see why people get nervous when they can't find their phone, or if it slips down an elevator shaft or something, because your entire life's on that stupid thing now. It's crazy. Let's see. 5 Anthony, movie Blade Runner, John Carpenter's They Live television series V canceled without any resolution. V was not getting high enough ratings to justify the cost to make it. Who are they? The non-human ones. I don't know. Oh, okay. Limited Access says, Kevin was very personable and I really enjoyed the stream. He's a beautiful person. He really is. There you go, Salty Matt Jameson. That's what Tim Curry, poor Tim Curry, looks like now. Of course, I'm pretty sure... That's terrible, though. Rookie! You guys are so bad. You guys are so bad. That's actually still, though, one thing that I absolutely love about Odysee is that you can meme while you're streaming. I love it. It's just... Everybody should be able to do that. Everybody should be able to do that. Okay, let's see. All right, I am going to now open the phone lines because I'm going to go into the subjects that I picked out today. If you guys are ready. All right. Of course, the number to call is 409-877-1243. I don't call myself that often. It's scrolling below me there, though, if you get it. And, of course, you can email me, too. Also, too, don't forget, if you got stingers or commercials, my show or yours, get them to me. My email is below. You can also send them to me on Element. Is it Element? Yeah, I do believe. And, I don't know how to share that. Or if I should share this publicly. I'm not sure. I'll try to go back through all of these comments. I'm gonna try to make a bit of this show tonight, Rocky. Gray Man, welcome to the show, Gray Man. Okay. All right, phone lines are open. First topic I want to talk about is the FBI files release. That was, Twitter files, 8? 7, 8? I don't think I've ever heard a more pathetic excuse come from any agency or any person. I don't know where they get these people from. I don't know what's going on, but this is one of the most pathetic responses and one of the biggest examples in doublespeak that I can think of. I mean, I see it every day now. Listen to this absolute nonsense.
We are getting our first response from the FBI to the Twitter file dumps. The statement reads, the correspondence between the FBI and Twitter show nothing more than examples of our traditional, long-standing and ongoing federal government and private sector engagements.
In other words, they just admitted, oh yes, we actually do this. We've done this forever. We've done this. This is a tradition. This is a good tradition. Usually talks about, it's a good thing. Usually traditions, everybody gathers at mom's house for Thanksgiving, or, certain people do certain things for Thanksgiving, or saluting the flag, etc., etc. So this is their tradition. The FBI is just so wholesome and holy. This is their tradition. They've been doing this forever. So essentially, they just admitted it. Okay, we'll go on.
Which involved numerous companies over multiple sectors and industries. As evidenced in the correspondence, the FBI provides critical information to the private sector in an effort to allow them to protect themselves and their customers.
Yeah, see how noble they are? This is for their good. This is for their protection. We wouldn't want anybody to hurt any of these people. If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. Let's go on.
The men and women of the FBI work every day to protect the American public.
Right.
It is unfortunate that conspiracy theorists and others are feeding the American public misinformation with the sole purpose of attempting to discredit the agency.
Oh, shame on these conspiracy theorists that actually found absolute proof of this in the Twitter files. But is this a conspiracy? This is a conspiracy. Even though we admit that you've been doing this, it's a conspiracy. Like I said, doublespeak, anyone? This is one of the biggest examples to me of doublespeak that I can think of. Yeah, we did it, but it's okay because we've been doing it forever, and shame on you for pointing it out. All right. Space Pirate Yvonne, welcome to the show, my friend. You get one of these. Thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate you being here. How you been? I heard, did I hear somewhere? I haven't been on the pond a lot lately, and I haven't been in any of the shows. Did I hear recently that you went to Burning Man? I don't know when that is, but I know that's your thing. So I hope you had a fantastic time. And thank you so much for the donation. Wag the Dog, Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro. I don't think I ever saw that movie. Is it worth it? Because I can't stand either one of those guys. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna let you guys argue about that. That's not part of my subjects tonight. Unless you want to call in and talk about it, but I don't know enough about it to really discuss it. So, I'm watching it now. Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah. Of course, none of these government agencies ever make any mistakes or mess anything up. That would diminish the credibility. Like they're claiming people on Twitter are trying to do after finding literal letters from them and emails from them telling these people to do this stuff. And not only are they admitting it, that they're doing it, they're admitting that they're not just doing it to Twitter. And of course, I think they found money and everything. I think that's the conspiracy that they're talking about. But how else would Twitter, as woke as it was, with it picking and choosing and literally getting rid of almost half of their business. How was it that Twitter was staying afloat? There had to be something coming in. There's no way that these people could have afforded all the perks that they were getting before Elon Musk took it over. I mean, the coffee bars and the food and the shuttles and the after dinners or after dinner parties and all this other stuff. The constant. I mean, this place was like a freaking spa, or even better, a cruise ship without having the seasickness. And they were getting paid six-figure salaries on top of all of that. Yeah. Somebody had to be keeping that company afloat. You cannot sustain business that way. Of course, you notice the first thing Elon Musk did when he took over. He got rid of all of that stuff. That's, you know, they were acting like they might have been possibly a nonprofit as well. But I can't see that either. So they were getting paid twice, essentially, from our government and from their advertisers. So, let's see. Am I missing anybody? Rougarou, Space Cowboy, Fog. You behave yourself now, Fog. Pastor Chatelet is watching you. All right, like they need any help. And then this response doesn't really help them that much either. I mean, they literally admitted it while saying it was a conspiracy theory. I mean, and it couldn't have been more plain than that either. I mean, I think my 11-year-old nephew was like, what? All right. And also, too, didn't we just find out that some of these same folks or these same agencies they just came out with the fact that they killed JFK for wanting to dismantle the NWO before it was actually even called that? I can guarantee you, I haven't read any of it or anything like that, but now knowing that that's actually the truth, I can guarantee you that he was actually, JFK was probably approached by either one of Schwartz's or Soros's ranks, and he resisted. He even said so in his very last public address. So you know, from what's going on now with anyone that resists or questions or tweets is at least censored to the point of cancellation in sometimes more ways than one in some instances. So, of course, in light of what my show is about, which you know is the freedom of speech here, how about that time when a publication that is or was built on the principle of free speech, the New York Times, literally denounces free speech. This happened back in March. This was something that started setting pretty. I'm sure that this isn't the only article. I seem to remember seeing other articles that kind of, but they say it right out here. America has a free speech problem. What would that be? For all the tolerance and enlightenment that modern society claims. Now, this article, I read part of this, most of this article, and it starts out sounding really nice. But I'll tell, but you're gonna see that this headline and this article should make your head spin if you have any, I guess, loyalty to the Constitution or to the country as far as that goes, especially the First Amendment. So let's see. Americans are losing hold of a fundamental right as citizens of a free country, the right to speak their minds and voice their opinions in public without fear of being shamed or shunned. This social silencing is depluralizing of America. This social silencing, this depluralizing of America has been evident for years, but dealing with it stirs yet more fear. It feels like a third rail dangerous. There should have been, these people don't punctuate anymore. They don't have editors on these companies anymore. That should have been a semicolon. For a strong nation and open society, that is dangerous. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How has this happened? In large part, now this is where it gets biased, if you will. Like I say, that first part sounded, oh, that's fantastic. These people are all for the First Amendment, it sounds like, on these first two. How has this happened? In large part, it's because the political left and the right are caught in a destructive loop of condemnation and recrimination around cancel culture. Many on the left refuse to acknowledge that cancel culture exists at all, believing that those who complain about it are offering cover for bigots to peddle hate speech, which doesn't actually exist. Many on the right, for all their braying about cancel culture, have embraced an even more extreme version of censoriousness as a bulwark against a rapidly changing society, with laws that would ban books, stifle teachers, and discourage open discussion in classrooms. Oh, yeah. But they don't tell you what they're discussing. And again, the left just refuses to admit that it exists, even though they're the perpetrators of it. Go on Twitter and watch any of these people start reporting somebody that says something that they don't like. But the right is canceling books and passing laws that are enslaving people to their whatever it is, their rhetoric or whatever. So yeah, the New York Times, even they're in on, you know, oh man, the right just complains about it so much. Well, wouldn't you think that, you know, if one person says one thing and umpteen million people say the other, especially their own experiences with it, this is something that we've been hearing, wouldn't you kind of go over to the majority? I mean, that's actually kind of the... But, oh yeah, no such thing as cancel culture. And of course, when anybody gets reprimanded now from the other side on Twitter, they've gone, oh, how dare you take away my free speech? It's okay for us to do it. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. The right is actually responsible for all of this, and all of these platforms have been over to the right, and I don't see that at all, because they're, you know, and a lot of these other people don't see it at all either. These people definitely are in some kind of a bubble. The weirdest thing about it is that this particular bubble seems to be something like, on one side, they're the experts, and then on the other side, it's like a conglomeration. They're the victims. It just, yeah. So I'll tell you what about this hate speech. They keep saying, oh, the right just covers for this and covers for that. No, actually, we're not necessarily, you wouldn't find me covering for somebody that's advocating for bigotry, advocating for child whatever, everything like that. But they still have the right to say that stuff. It's not actually against the law. All right? In fact, one of the main reasons why it's not against the law is so that you can actually use the second part of the First Amendment, which is your freedom of association. Well, no, I think that's the third or fourth part of it. But it's like liberty, the freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, and freedom of association. Yeah, okay, so the fourth part of the First Amendment. You know, the First Amendment doesn't mean you can just blather away all you want to, and it also doesn't have any provisions for consequences against your speech, which would actually be either people telling you to shut the fuck up, punching you in the mouth if it was necessary. I mean, there are some people that actually have the nerve to catcall other people's women or touch them inappropriately, although that's not freedom of speech, that's actually assault, so at that point... Let's see. Rayna, thank you so much for the library coin. I appreciate that. And of course, big shout out to you and your show. I'll be coming back as soon as the holidays are over, my dear. Let's see. I'm trying not to miss anything. You guys talk a lot while I'm talking as well. All right, but like I say, yeah, I got some hate speech for these people, these total well, you know. I'll let Salty call them the names. I really don't care. Just leave me alone. And don't tell me what to say. All right, the next thing that really drives everybody crazy and that should... I'm not really sure if it should scare you, but it is actually kind of scary, some of the things that they're suggesting at the moment. All in the name of this climate change grift. It's, I mean, pressure from all sides. Let's see, super simplified. I don't know if that's from the area or not. You can study it for 100 years, barely scratch the surface. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about here. You guys seem to be discussing between yourselves. You're supposed to be calling me. The lines are open if you want to talk about any of this stuff. But as I was telling you, not only are they trying to convince everyone that we the plebs are responsible for climate change, which is laughable, but that climate change is also responsible for all of our problems and our health concerns. Meanwhile, they keep pushing for medical tyranny. So this climate change thing to me is a distraction, and it's especially more so because they're so adamant about it. I've got literally 6 headlines, and I actually found 20, but I didn't want to bore you because I'm sure you've seen a lot of them. But these were the ones that stuck out to be the most. And the subjects and the topics that stick out to me the most as far as climate change goes. From the BBC, how eating insects could help climate change. Now, to me, the way that that's worded, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but the way that's worded, it almost sounds like as if you eat bugs, it's going to create climate change. How eating insects could, which is a subjective word, which means they don't know. They're just trying to put it in your mind so that they can continue to roll it around in there and make it snowball like they want. Could help climate change. Now, if they would put 2 more words in there, it would have actually made sense as to probably what they wanted to tell you. Again, though, they used the subjective and then they missed out on a couple of words, and they had room for a bigger title. But in preventing climate change, maybe, perhaps, but it's just climate change now. No questions, no adjectives, no adverbs, no nothing. It's just climate change, whatever they say it is. And of course, I'd sure like to know where it's coming from, because in about an hour, it's going to be 16 degrees in southern Texas with a wind chill factor of -2. What the hell is that? Anyway, as the global climate change talks in Paris come to an end, this came out in December, it says it's December of 2015, but they've been talking about eating the bugs a lot more prevalently now. An issue that was raised by most notably by Arnold Schwarzenegger is the amount of meat people eat. Yeah, I'll just bet he's a vegetarian or a vegan. I'll just bet. Micro livestock, yeah. Blech. Well, Fogg says he's eaten ants before. Well, I actually saw them, chocolate-covered ants, I believe. I don't remember where I saw them. I think they were in some hotel that a French people owned in China when I went. And I saw them, and they were novelties. Chocolate-covered ants, it's, this is a delicacy. I think it was just a matter, something that they just did. I mean, chocolate-covered ants, come on. So, and I've seen scorpion lollipops. Those are novelty things. People don't really choose to eat them. In fact, I think my daughter actually bought I think it's something like that. It was in Texas. It's supposed to be a novelty and everything. Like, she ate it, but every time she'd come to a piece of the scorpion, she'd pull it out and throw it away. She liked the cinnamon pepper of the lollipop, but she wasn't going to eat the bug. She didn't eat the bug. Anyway. Okay, you guys are still talking about space. Space Cowboy! Welcome, Sparky. Alright. Don't forget, share. Support. And of course, thank you again for the support so far. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not eating bugs. And in fact, if you use, oh, well, people around the world have eaten bugs. Yeah, because they had nothing else. And some of them are specialized bugs. Like, there is some kind of worm in some kind of melon in some kind of foreign island over there that they pull them out of there and they roast them and they're good and all of that. But, you know, it's not, they're not eating grasshoppers. They're not eating every bug that they see, which is basically what they seem to want us to do over here. Young Berg, welcome to the show. It ain't much, but it's honest work. Integrity Farms, perhaps? All right. And of course, if eating insects isn't good enough for you, they give you another option. All right. Will you eat dog food to fight climate change? Let me see in the comments what your answer to that question headline is. My answer is fuck no. Let's see. Bruin backhand. Eat the bugs. Let's see. Eating bugs. It's in all the movies. Well, good. They can keep it. I'm trying to engage in a conversation, but I can't seem to get anybody to respond. UK main media are telling us that Donald Trump is due to be arrested any time. I don't know. It was a spa taxpayer dollars. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Who are they referring to? And it's one of our normal humans, the Simpsons and South Park especially. Yep. Not many people know they exist. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I've become kind of a homebody, but you know, I try not to judge as far as that goes. I haven't done anything to give anybody any reason to want to probe me. I'm a famous nobody. All right. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. These are all opinion pieces, but at the same token, again, they're in major publications. They're all over the place, and they're talking about it. In fact, hell, you had even, what was her name? Kim Basinger, or what's the other one? She was in, I think the last thing I remember seeing her in was A League of Their Own, the female baseball players. That's how long it's been since I've seen any movies. And she got on there with her little chopsticks and dropping them in her mouth like she was royalty, and she was like she was eating the grapes, you know, in the Roman chaise lounges. Oh yes, oh this is very tasty. No. So yeah, and I won't eat dog food either. In fact, I won't even give my dogs the dog food that they sell out there. And my cats either. In fact, my cats are pretty spoiled. I get them extremely cheap chicken and bake it all up and give it to them. Yes, they're meat eaters. If you've ever looked at the ingredients on dog food, it's cornmeal and some kind of petroleum something or other. It always smells like rubber tires to me. So I'm sure that the dogs like it, but the dogs and cats actually don't smell like we do. They actually their smells and sniffers are actually designed to smell out protein. If you can imagine. I couldn't imagine that. All right, first phone call. Greetings, you're on the air.
Hi, I just want to wish down at work, so I just want to wish you happy holidays. I like that little Santa hat.
Oh, thank you.
I missed the first part because I was in the middle of trying to finish this newsletter for all. The question is Trump going to be arrested? I was looking at the comments. It said there was according to a UK newspaper. Is that true?
Actually, I've seen a lot of people actually predicting that, including, believe it or not, Styx Hexenheimer mentioned it too. They're doing anything that they possibly can to make him unelectable.
I know.
Because he's still beating them in all the polls, even though they've put out all of this messaging and everything like that. The only thing that I know of for absolutely sure, because these people are always trying to predict the future and everything like that. They want the scoop so bad that they're willing to tell people things that might happen. That's why I say always watch out for these headlines when they say could or might or may or maybe or something like that. So the only thing I know for sure is that the January 6th commission, and they did this live on some TV or whatever, like whoever picked it up. They sent a recommendation for prosecution to the DOJ. So it's in the DOJ's hands at the moment. I don't think they've made, I don't know of, and I don't think that they've made any comments or statements yet. So it's a possibility. Anything's possible these days.
Yeah, it's not even prosecution, it's a persecution. I have mixed feelings about Trump running for office, and I'd rather have DeSantis. But I just have never, but still, I mean, I like the guy. Frankly, I'll vote for anyone, Republican ticket at this point, but I'm just so, it's just so, it's painful, the vitriol, this man is, when they said he cheated on, I wasn't sure what to make of the article. It said he cheated on it, or something. They never really made money or like taxes. He just claimed a lot of deductions or something, or he didn't really, up until his presidency, he didn't really make much money. It was I'm not even sure what it was all about. But I feel like they were looking for things that weren't even relevant to his term in office.
Yeah,
again, I don't know. I don't know how to read it. I don't know how to read into it. I really, just say you can pray for the guy. It's just, Anyway, I'll let you. As I said, I've got to get back to work here. I just want to wish you happy holidays.
Oh well, I appreciate that.
It's just been so. I've been taking advantage. Besides the fifth night, I've been taking advantage. The holidays, just to not listen to the news, because it's beyond depressing. It's just perverse.
Yeah,
you really. Yeah.
I got to be honest. I'm actually surprised that you called. I'm not real up on your traditions and your religious things and everything, but I know that it's Hanukkah right now, isn't it? I'm really surprised that you called, but I appreciate it, and happy Hanukkah to you.
Yeah, thank you, happy Hanukkah. Yeah, thank you, and enjoy your holiday. And it's more of a minor Jewish festival, but I think that it's a fun one. I enjoy it very much. I love the songs. I've been playing Hanukkah music nonstop. Yeah, watching. I've got to go home and light the door very shortly. Okay, all right. So enjoy the holidays. What about New Year's? Are you gonna be have your show or?
Oh yeah, I plan on doing my Thursday show, and then for actually New Year's Eve, Saturday night, I have to work. But I'm an entertainer, this has been
what you do, a
busy season. It's always busy for entertainers.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So be well. Okay.
Thank you for calling. You have a great holiday and a happy New Year. If I don't see you again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. Good night.
Bye.
All right, shout out. That's Hallie, my regular caller. She's been calling me since I started the show. How about that? I'm so happy. Appreciate you, Hallie. Let's see. The Bobby Digital, welcome to the show. He says that the Kari Lake trial was interesting. Too bad nothing's going to come of it. Well, they're allowing her to sue for 2 reasons out of 10 that she came up with, and this thing with the inappropriate ballots and the fact that and everybody knows that you have to change the size manually, and it's actually almost impossible if you do it in certain ways on, I guess it's Windows. Windows does everything. I don't think it's Macs that they're using. But yeah, the fact that they had a 19-inch ballot on a 20-inch piece of paper, and it was actually rejecting them because the dots in the machine weren't readable. I mean, that's pretty astounding, and it's also pretty obvious somebody didn't want Kari Lake to win. Either that, because one of the things about that also too, they're talking about that the polls were all for Kari Lake. The polls were all for Kari Lake. who watches polls anymore? In fact, the polls have been so manipulated against one or the other. I still think that in some cases, especially after 2016, that the polls were all skewed to make it look like the red side was winning, so that people would sit back and go, oh yeah, we're winning anyway, I don't have to bother to go and vote, and and then of course with the new rules, and I mean, you know, they're playing the game, my babes. They're playing the game. They are playing the game. They're making up the rules as they're going along too. So yeah, let's hold them to it, and let's do some of our own. Let's play by their rules in that aspect. You want to make it legal for that? Now, of course, you're going to listen to them bitching and moaning and complaining. How dare you hold us to our own rules? But hey, you made the beds. But you're probably right. Nothing's going to happen from it. The person that's there now was chosen, and because of the fact that she wouldn't recuse herself from being in charge of it, we know why she was pulling a lot of the stuff she did during the debate, or during the non-debates, during the campaigns and everything like that. All right, back onto the subject at hand here. That was only I only showed you the second piece of information that's crazy and scary going on in people's heads about this climate change ruse. Time to eat the pets? This is from BBC again. Now, not only, this is again another alternative, I guess you could say, from bugs. Although this is something that blows my mind because of the fact that they've taken such a long time to convince people that your pets are your family, that your pets are a part of the family. In fact, Trump, this is something that most people don't give him credit for, but Trump actually made it a federal offense to abuse an animal. And that's one I see that they haven't reversed. But okay, so now they've got everybody convinced that the dogs and cats and our pets are a part of our family, that you shouldn't leave them when you move. You've got to be, all of this pressure to always take care of your pets, which I agree with. It's not something that, it's not something that you should actually be against. But all of this time that they're doing this, because before, even in as early as the 1800s, late as the 1800s, animals were service to man. The people would have dogs on the farm because the dogs chased away, any wildlife. They were trained to take care of the family. They were the burglar alarm or the wild animal alarm or something like that. Or sometimes they would even actually go after these animals and stuff like that, protect the cows, protect the chickens, etc., etc. Now all of a sudden, if you don't bring them in the house, and if you don't treat them, you don't feed them gourmet food, and you don't hold them and take them everywhere you go and everything like that, you don't love your animal. Well, then you got people that will literally save an animal before they would save a human if both were dying or drowning or whatever at the same time. So now they go from that, pushing that for so long, now you got to eat your pets because of climate change. And there's all kinds of articles. In fact, I found just on the first page, there was all kinds of articles about either killing your pets now or eating your pets now because of climate change. Let's imagine that you've heard all the talk about this crucial conference in Copenhagen, and you've decided that you want to do your bit and clean up your carbon footprint. So where to start? That's what my wife and I were asking ourselves a couple of years ago after I recklessly agreed to accept BBC Challenge to try and cut the family's greenhouse gas emissions. Here's how we got on, and as you will see, we started our eco makeover with our home, a pretty sensible place to begin, as our homes are together responsible for a quarter of this country's carbon emissions. I call bullshit. And it's only a quarter, so where's the rest of it coming from? And they're saying that there's 100% pollution here now, as far as this goes, and 100% carbon footprint for everybody, greenhouse gas emission. So humans only supposedly in his aspect make up 25% of it. Where's the rest of it coming from? They don't tell you that, do they? In order to see this content, you'll need to have both JavaScript enables, blah, 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 blah. Trying to make my home, let's see. Oh, he's got a list here. Most popular pets are overwhelmingly cats and dogs. First, a few pet-related facts. He goes through a whole litany of everything like that, but this, again, should blow your mind. Especially, I mean, I've got 3 cats. 2 of them are outdoor cats for the most part. I've got them, I now have them in a bed in the shed, you know, for the protection of because they're my outdoor cats. I don't see snakes. I don't see rats around the house. They kill a bird or a squirrel occasionally, but I mean, that's what cats do anyway. And of course, Bonkers is my outdoor cat, but there's no way he's going outside right now. In fact, I've even set him up a little spot in the bathtub in case he has to go tinkle, because I'm not letting him out to do that. It's too cold. It'll be too cold for him out there. So everybody's taken care of. But they eat better than I do. I treat them better than I do because, I mean, you know, like I said, dog food and cat food is cornmeal. They're not vegetarians. That's why they have canine teeth. So, let's see. Sorry, 5. My tablet keeps lagging and crashing. I'm going to recommend Odysee for conversation tonight because I'm headed for the tub to lurk. Okay. Yeah, some people don't have, I'm on a computer. Some people aren't on computers. They're listening to me on their phones. They're listening to me on their iPads. Anything portable. Welcome if you're out there. Fog is one of those people that sends like 10 small text messages instead of one big one, giving you a million notifications. Well, he's playing the game. Everybody has the attention span of a goldfish these days, right? All right. So yeah, and there we go. The next one. Scientists suggest eating human meat to tackle climate change. So we've gone from eating bugs. This is another. They are, like I say, it's not like they're not giving us alternatives to bugs. They would prefer we eat the bugs. But I mean, they've given you, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 alternatives now, which the next one is human meat. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna halfway through this. This is what this reminds me of. Let's see, where was I? I meant to pull this up before. Nope, that's not it. Hang on. Let me find it. I think I know I saved it. This is what this reminds me of. Where is it?
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
What did he say?
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
I wonder, does he mean living together in our stomachs? Anyway, let's see. Scientists suggest eating human meat to tackle climate change. I would think, and of course, if I don't know how many people know about the Donner Party, that's history of people getting caught in a snowstorm like this and having to eat each other. So I would think that would be an absolute last resort out of survival as far as that goes. But yeah, you're not going to get me to eat that either. Swedish scientist has suggested eating human flesh to tackle climate change at a Stockholm summit, according to reports. This was in 2019, but still, they got the idea out there. This is from the Evening Standard. I'm not sure exactly what company this is, but I'm sure it's probably, by what you're looking at, it's probably owned by one of the big 6. All right. Again, like I told you, they're blaming now. They're also blaming, something to tackle climate change. Instead, it's not for climate change, because the first one sounded like they were saying, "Oh, if you eat the bugs, it's going to cause climate change." No editors anymore. Nobody makes any sense. I think that's one of the reasons why they're trying to get rid of decent, language and stuff like that, trying to change language. But here's another. Now they're blaming climate change on like the rise in heart disease. There's another one of those subjectives. may be explained by extreme weather conditions. And of course, you know that's the reason why they use subjective, because it's not the reason. You know that's not the reason. In fact, there are more and more and more and more proofs and more and more and more and more doctors coming out now that they're not censored on Twitter anymore, saying, we all know what it is. We all know what it is. Let's see. Watching my... Wow, I've been talking for an hour already. Let's see. Eating... What's wrong with eating chihuahuas? I would think that in most cases they don't have very much meat on them. Punctuation lives matter. Yeah. I like that. Let's eat, comma, Grandma. Greetings, you're on the air.
Hi, it's Limited Access. How are you? Merry
Hello
Christmas.
there. Merry Christmas. I hope you're not canning any of this stuff that they're suggesting for us.
Actually, I'm canning cat food.
Oh, okay, but not for you to eat.
Oh, no, it's actually I've made it so that I could even feed it to a baby.
Okay.
You know, like canning baby food.
Yeah, I guess you would. I guess you could if you're making them something like that. Then yeah, you could eat it too. That's not a bad thing, I guess.
Yeah.
In fact,
it's like a puree. Okay, so I'm canning, let's say, chicken or turkey, because you know cats like birds. They don't like the beef so much. I found that out. She doesn't like beef.
Ah.
But when I'm canning stuff and I have scraps, I'll go ahead and I'll can up those scraps later on for her. And, you know, I can't always afford the kitten crack, you know, those squeezables. She loves them things, but they're expensive.
I know. Mine loves them too.
Loves them.
Mine loves them too. In fact, I got a couple of videos I'm going to post of him just going to town on it.
Nice. So what I did is I took the little tiny, like, half-pint jars, like the little tiny baby food jars.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I canned some turkey in it from Thanksgiving, and I got about, you know, just out of scraps and whatever. And then what I did is I took some out and made her eat some of that, and then I mixed, like, one of those packets in it to kind of fool her a little bit.
Ah.
And she eats it just fine now. She eats it just fine. Oh, and as far as I wanted to talk about, you were talking about, and you know, they're talking about eating the bugs. Bugs will make you extraordinarily sick.
Oh, indeed.
Okay. They have an exoskeleton on them, like grasshoppers and, you know, the hard exoskeleton ones. I mean, I guess you can eat ants because they do it in Mexico all the time. But the harder ones, like they're talking about doing locust flour and stuff like that, that exoskeleton is not digestible by a human.
Mm-mm.
And it actually screws up your digestive system. I've watched a couple of doctors talk about this on different channels. You know, when you go to Odysee and BitChute and whatnot, you've got some doctors out there that can actually put the truth out, at least for now. And you were talking about, you know, the human meat and the Donner Party. Oh, absolutely. There's stuff in not only psychologically is it going to screw you up eating human meat, but physiologically it will mess with you, especially when you're talking about organ meat and brain meat and things like that. And then the bone marrow. I don't know. Like you said, go back into time and look at the Donner. Go read about the Donner Party. I mean, they did what they had to do to survive, but I don't think I could. Yeah.
Nah. Welcome 2 Minutes to Midnight. And Skeletor, welcome to the show. We're talking about the past year's craziness, stuff that's been going on, and of course I'm hoping that we're getting close to the darkest before the dawn, because so I don't know. I don't even know what to tell you anymore.
Exactly. Well, I wanted to say to the Pond and the Odysee crew and whatnot, Merry Christmas. I'm planning on being down there on Friday to reefer for Salty, and thanks to everybody. But I'm going to let you go now because I'm pink and I'm out of the tub, and I just had to comment on eating the bugs and cat food and wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. And happy Hanukkah, Haley. I wished it to her on YouTube, but say it in person. Happy Hanukkah, Haley. She's awesome.
Yes, she is. I love Hallie. All right. Thank you so much for calling. Another regular caller. She is our resident canner and prepper. She's got some great ideas and tips and tricks on that, and she also has some pretty decent seeds. I can't wait till springtime.
Let me know when you need help with it. All right.
I
Happy
sure
holidays. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you. Good night.
To you too.
Thank you. Good night. All right. Pastor Shadley says, we have to eat the babies. That was a meme. I'm glad that was a meme, though. But there were some people that thought she was serious and probably started thinking about that. That's terrible. And, of course, we already know the rumors that are going around as far as what they do with children and why. But I won't go into that either. We're sticking with the craziness that they want us to do at the moment. All right, like I say, rise in heart disease may be explained by extreme weather conditions. Again, maybe. They can say anything they want, but it doesn't make it true. And of course, this like I say, this is their way of going from one extreme to the other with this, and it's doublespeak again to me, because if everything is at fault for this particular situation, then absolutely probably nothing is. All right, the next one is Too Hot to Play. This came out in August. Of course, August is one of the hottest months of the year, no matter where you are, in the United States especially. But in the northern hemisphere, I guess you could say, and parts of the southern hemisphere until you get down to the poles, I guess. Too Hot to Play. Childhood obesity and inactivity increasing because of climate change. No, it's not. Like I say, summer is hot. Of course summer is hot. You know, summer has always been hot. I think the reason for the obesity is the fact that they get them hooked on all of this pre-processed food while they put television shows and video games and TikTok in front of the kids, and they don't do anything. Some of them may stay in shape because they dance in front of the TikTok, but other than that, yeah, they don't go out and associate anymore because they do it all online now or through the television. Hey, Heather, welcome to the show, and Merry Christmas to you, too. All right. Let's see, where did we go here? All right, and of course, last but not least, again, another excuse for you not to eat meat anymore. Eating too much protein makes pee, from the Scientific American of all places, pee a problem pollutant in the United States. Protein-packed diets add excess nitrogen to the environment through urine, rivaling pollution from agricultural fertilizers. I call bullshit on that one. I really do. First of all, isn't nitrogen something that you actually need for these plants to grow, for a lot of these plants to grow, and everything like that? So, and wouldn't urine be natural unless you're eating all synthetic meats, all synthetic whatevers? And a lot of the fertilizers actually is synthetic that they are using already. But it's us peeing's fault. It's not what they've given us to eat that we are peeing out. It's what we're peeing out that's the problem. And of course, never mind all of the drugs, all of the pharmaceuticals, all of the other crapola that they're giving us that we pee out into the, you know, that's not causing any problems. I bet some of the fish out there are so fucked up that that they don't even do their natural stuff. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, a lot of that stuff gets filtered through the natural rocks and everything like that too, so you never do. Although, like I say, there's still traces of that stuff, and it probably won't ever get filtered out completely, especially if they keep pushing all of this stuff all the time. All the time. Skeletor says, they just don't want us to be big, strong men. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. In fact, there's several things that I actually wanted to show you that kind of disgust me and are scary, but we got a time constraint here. I might pull them up if I can later on. I'll go through this any faster. But since human waste now seems to be yet another problem, creating climate change, what better way to find and punish you for doing so? This smart toilet, now this is from Vice. This smart toilet will know you by the shape of your asshole. That is a scary... Not only is that disgusting, but that is a scary thought. That is a scary thought. The team of researchers at Stanford University developed a prototype smart toilet with 4 cameras, which means they're taking pictures from all angles, almost better than a movie scene, for fuck's sake, that can identify users based on their anal print. Imagine if that's the way that they identified you when you go to prison or something. Now, Vice is a the pictures that go through my head sometimes with some of this stuff too. Vice is actually a scuzzy publication. Not only does this article talk about how great this idea is, they literally show actual photos of anuses. I'll try and skip by them because they're not very pretty. In fact, they give 10 examples of what they're looking for. And of course, they exclaim in their disclaimer and their justification for the, oh, it's all for your health. It could, again, another subjective, help us to diagnose a problem, a medical problem, which would most likely be hemorrhoids or something else, because I'm sure that it's not smell-o-vision yet. Again, the pictures that go through my head on this stuff. There's the diagram of it. Basically, you see the four places where they put the camera. There's a drawing. I'm not real sure what angle that is. I'd like to know who drew this diagram. Somebody's 10-year-old probably. I don't know. Your butthole is like a snowflake. See what I mean about Vice being shit? No two are exactly alike. Have you actually taken pictures? Have they already installed these? Have you taken pictures of all 8 billion of us? Another scary thought. At least that's the crux of a new scientific paper outlining the mechanisms for a smart toilet that identifies poopers based on the video clips of their unique anuses. What's to say that some of this footage won't be used for other things too, especially if they're watching the entire act close up. And I thought bleaching and duplicating them with chocolate was bad. Not to mention, aren't some people like sunning them? They're sticking them up in the air and having the sun on them. So isn't that supposed to be where the sun doesn't shine? I mean, come on. Now, here's one of the things that went through my head when I first read this article and I wrote it down. Can you imagine? Imagine this. Picture in your mind having a warrant out for your arrest because you eat too much protein. I gotta get my toy ready for this.
Power on.
I hope it stays on through our reading this. Anyway, you have a warrant out for your arrest now for eating too much protein. You go out to a public restroom, or some public restroom somewhere that has these tattletale toilets in them. Okay, you sit down to relieve yourself, and all of a sudden, you're locked in your stall with some blazing alarm until the cops come. You better make sure that you pull up your pants quickly, because then when they do get there, you'll be dragged out in front of all the patrons, and they'll know that you poop in public. You poop in public! Shame on you! And imagine now justifying this due to monitoring your health. This is for your benefit and your health. Any excuse to get you to the butcher, the pusher, the doctor's office, I guess. All right, so that was so funny. And for some reason, I guess it's just, I'm not sure if it's the algorithms now on my browser or whatever, but while I was doing the research for this toilet, this came across my feeds. These are some folks in a little town called Cordon, Indiana, that seem to have the remedy, or at least some levity, for this invasive toilet. Let's listen.
There's a cry across the heartland, a yearning for the days gone by. And in little old Cordon, Indiana, they're happy and they'll tell you why. They got butt drugs, they love butt drugs, butt drugs, butt drugs.
I love butt drugs.
I recommend butt drugs for everybody.
I can always count on butt drugs.
When I think drugs, I think butt drugs. For all my health needs, I turn to butt drugs.
You want hometown service and cheap hot coffee and liquor. Now that's the ticket. You can tell Walmart, CVS, and Walgreens exactly where to stick it. Butt drugs. Butt drugs.
Butt drugs.
Butt drugs.
Free parking in the rear. I love butt drugs.
I'll bet you do, dude. He loves butt drugs.
Butt drugs.
All right. Then, if that wasn't bad enough, this came across my feed. I wonder what I've got my algorithms, or they have my algorithms set to. Here's another good one. I give you feminist poopers.
Being a human is hard, especially if you're a woman who's also having trouble doing that totally normal thing all humans do, but not all of them like to talk about.
Oh, are you talking about pooping?
Let's just say Garden of Life's doctor-formulated women's probiotics help your digestion so you can be a more regular human.
I'm comfortable talking about poop. You can just say poop.
It's 2021. I think everyone knows that women poop.
I love pooping. You poop, girl.
Plus, did you know that the 40 billion probiotics found in Garden of Life can help support immune system health?
Oh, are you poop-splaining me right now?
Wow.
Don't be shy about pooping. Pooping.
Poop-splaining? Poop-splaining. Oh, yeah. Now I've heard it all.
Is powerful.
This is my favorite part of the day.
Wow.
I poop. She poops. All women poop. I'm a woman, and I poop. I'm a woman, and I poop.
I'm a woman, and I poop regularly.
Thanks for the poop-powerment.
I'm not saying poop-powerment.
I'm pooping right now.
Look for Garden of Life, the #1 probiotic that...
That was more than I needed to know. But... it's amazing what comes across your feed when you look up a smart toilet. Oh, goodness. Let's see. American Rant Show says, y'all need Jesus. Indeed, you are correct. That's why I try and seek him out every day. God only knows. Someone needs Jesus. Yes, they need Jesus. We all need Jesus. Raynoth. No shit. but poop. They all were pooping. All right. All right, I got some more levity for you. Let's see. Now, this one actually came to mind, and actually was a something, I don't know why it came across my feed. It actually is quite funny, but it might actually work out, even though we can make fun of it, for something that can help out female to male trans people to, like, try it out before they go through the permanent whatever it is. And this is kind of neat, but watch this. And actually, I really wonder if this is actually made out of something recycled, because you never know there either.
This is an ultra-realistic bodysuit that lets a girl experience what it's like to be a guy. It even has a built-in...
This thing is great.
Oh, you look amazing.
I'm gonna try to take this. Stay back!
I can help you. I have more experience than you do.
This is incredible.
This is so weird.
Oh, yeah.
This...
even has a built-in... And actually, to be honest with you, it looked like she could use that better than I've heard some people that have gone under the knife do for that kind of surgery. But, oh yes, the butt baby. I think I'll let you cover that on your show. That's too much for me. Let's see. So I think that might actually be a good way to give female to male trans folks the trial before buying some of said medical procedures. However, it seems like this suit does a better job working properly than most surgeries do, like I said earlier. My only question is, since when did men start having to roll the skin up on their arms and their neck? He says she looks amazing. Oh yeah, you got baggy wrists and a baggy neck. You look fantastic, lady. Notice they didn't show you the thing. But they showed her standing up. I really do wonder how that works. All right. I also found this hilarious. I'm not real sure why this came across my feed. Maybe because I watch Family Guy a lot. When I fall asleep, I go to one of those little marathons that they've got on there for 2 or 3 hours and just let it play, and then it goes off. My computer goes off after it's done playing. But yeah, I can't go to sleep without noise for some dumb reason. I don't know why. But this was hilarious. Somebody came up with this. You'll probably recognize the audio. But they did a cool mashup on this.
No more. Dad, I'm scared. Get the phone. Call 911. Lois, get in here. Okay. I think it's all gone. Please, no more.
One more time.
No more. Dad, I'm scared. Get the phone. Call 911. Lois, get in here. Okay. I think it's all gone. Please.
Lizard suit. No, it wasn't a lizard suit. But maybe it was, like I say, maybe something, they use something to recycle it with. They always try to sell things by that mantra. Oh, recycled parts. Yeah, just what I want. Used shit. She definitely pees in pools. That's funny, Bruin Backhand. Pretty sure she's peeing down her leg onto the floor. Fabulous. That's not what it sounded like, but then again, they didn't really show it, so I didn't actually go and see, because a lot of these people, they actually have full videos from some of these shorts, but I don't have time to look at everything. I have enough trouble. Like I say, I'm wanting to do more shows and more videos, but I'm having enough trouble getting the Thursday one together most of the time and doing it on time. Although, like I say, it is the holidays. That's kind of normal for me. So, Skeletor says, the Lord is all powerful, Fog. Ask him to come into your heart. What have you got to lose? Eternal life? Yeah, I'm one of those ones that I would rather be wrong. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Then I've lost, nothing and you've lost nothing. But if I'm right, then I get everything and you get nothing, or something like that. I'd rather be right, I guess you could say, or I'd rather take my chances that way. Eternal life, love, etc., than the alternatives. All right, back to the scary shit. Now, this is just just a mild example of this. Is something I found on Odysee. More and more stuff is coming out on Odysee, and they're doing a lot more of the shorts and a lot more of the other stuff on Odysee, which is great. Odysee's growing. I'm glad to see it. They still, I got to say though, they still have their growing pains in some aspects. Although today was great. I didn't have to change anything or reset the stream, and I don't see any buffering today either. So fantastic. And of course, Yvonne, if you have anything to do with that, awesome as usual. Let's see. Dream Demon, welcome to the show. I remember that episode. All right. Teachers are getting pretty scary now too, and I'll explain one of my opinions about this after you hear this guy.
I'm an openly gay high school teacher in West Virginia, and let me tell you something.
Is that all you are?
Parents, it is your job as the parent to accept your child.
No, it's your job as the parent to raise your child. Listen to the next sentence.
It is your job as the parent to reconcile your deeply held religious beliefs with who...
You have to change what you believe in because your child has decided to be something different. That's not... No. That means also, too, that you didn't have any convictions in the first place. All right? And isn't the biblical sense the child's supposed to honor the mother and the father? Now, I'm not saying that you go to abuse your kids and all this other stuff and anything like that, but childs are empty vessels. They don't know anything without us or people like him. That's why they go after these children. But yes, I saw the word. Yes, Adam, you're correct. I'm not going to repeat it because we are on YouTube. Geez, I sure wish some billionaire that liked free speech would actually buy these other platforms. Greetings, you're on the air.
Is this the great and wise Laura DGddss herself?
At your service.
Live and breathe?
As you live and breathe, at your service.
How you doing, Miss Ma'am?
I'm doing great. Having a good time talking about the looniness that's been going on this year.
Yeah, I started collecting a lot of the same videos because there was a point that I want to make during the show. And it just seems like in my show, like I'm just running out of time to point out all this degeneracy, this delusional, disconnected, retarded view that these people have. And it's part of the reason why I called, because I want to share with you, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
The basis of all of this. And this is one of my biggest points. All right, so all of these trash bags keep crying, oh my God, they keep calling us groomers and pedophiles, and that's so not true. I am not a pedophile. You can't call me a pedophile. I need a safe space. Right? So they're crying the blues because we're calling them groomers and pedophiles. But here's the thing. I've been through a whole bunch of these videos. First and foremost, they can't accept the fact that while they think they're on some sort of, political crusade, they're still teaching sex to children. They're still talking about sexual topics to children, and particularly to small children. That is the frickin' definition.
Well, they're doing more than talking about it. They're showing it to them.
That's what I'm saying. And that's, they're groomers and pedophiles, and they can't seem to grasp the fact that even if you want to, like some of these retards are actually dumb enough to believe that their intentions are somehow good.
Oh, right, yeah. And they're justified, yeah.
In their stupid little brains, they think they're doing a good thing, but they can't seem to, and this is the definition of cognitive dissonance. They have two opposing ideas in their head, and they're always angry because they can never reconcile the two, and they want to believe both.
Raised on doublespeak.
But at the same time, they want to tell kids about sex. They want to give books to kids teaching them explicitly how to have sex. And then the one that really, really blows my frickin' mind, the one that just really makes me want to lose my shit. I have been seeing more and more where there are these trash bags. Like, I just had nothing nice to say. Like, I just want to come off the deep end on describing what degenerate garbage these people are. But they're putting in schools around the United States now, it's coming out more and more. They're putting in books that explicitly explain to kids in detail, step by step, how a young child should go about having sex with an older adult. Mm-hmm. How can you convince me that you are not a pedophile doing that? See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, they've tried to change the definition of it to a sexual orientation. That's absolute crap. And I'm noticing that even the gays, they've been complaining, oh, it's only a gay thing, but they're realizing that it's not, but that their a group or their community is actually being taken over by these people. And they don't want that. They don't want that either.
Well, the problem is, though, is that many of them are them. Many of them are them. And then here's what I say, even among the Democrats, and here's really the biggest issue. They constantly cry, like when even now when Trump's not in office, but when he was in, somebody says something, well, why didn't Trump denounce that? He must agree with it because he didn't come out and denounce it. Like everything he doesn't denounce, he suddenly agrees with just because he didn't bother speaking about it. So I say the same logic is absolutely true in reverse. All of these faggots and degenerates want to run their mouths about screwing kids, screwing with kids, sexualizing kids, every aspect of this that you could possibly conceive, but I don't see anybody else in the Democrat Party denouncing it. See what I'm saying? I don't see anybody else.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard any of them say that any of this stuff was a lie or, their famous misinformation line and all of this other stuff. So they know we got their number.
They keep doubling down.
Yep.
They keep doubling down. So
they keep doubling down and hoping that Epstein's list doesn't come out.
Exactly, and it's starting to come out. By the way, I don't know if you heard about that.
Good.
One of the victims coming forward with video, I guess, if she doesn't, commit suicide first.
Oh, I've read that she's threatening it, but yeah, I wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
I would have just did it. Fuck warning them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They should release that all over the internet so it can't disappear. So here's an idea that I had for everybody listening. If you want to have some fun, if you want to throw punches back, if you want to screw with the left, if you want to be an actual digital warrior, as many of us claim to be, then here's an idea. Here is a fun idea. Wikipedia is editable. We can go in and offer editing ideas to Wikipedia. Anybody can. I don't know how many people are aware of that. So let's go in and change the definitions of Democrat to wood chipper food. Pedophile, wood chipper. Go in and start rewriting stuff just like this bullshit they're pulling. Let's do that too. Let's all engage in the same bit of fun that we love to have. Anyway, I just wanted to share. This stuff gets me fired up. I want to throw shit and scream and everything else when I hear all this stuff that's screwing with kids.
I agree. That's why we got to keep pointing it out and telling these people absolutely not.
Not just no, but hell no.
Right.
And no, if you this has to be the clear message. This is what I'm preaching now. This is my broken record. This is the drum I'm going to beat. We need to explain to every one of these fuckheads that, you know what? I'll meet you in the street. I will meet you in the damn street. There is not going to be any compromise. We are not going to shut up and go away. They assume that silence is consent. So you know what? We have to respond to every stupid little retarded thing they say on social media or out loud. We have to shoot everything down. If one of these little retards walks down the street and says, oh, my shoe's untied, we have to address that too, because these little retards can't accept that somebody might not agree with them just because they didn't speak up about it.
Right.
I'm just saying. I mean,
agree.
not that I'm emotional or angry.
It starts out with your own kids. If you got kids in school, like I know 451 Actual is probably keeping a really close eye on all of that stuff. I noticed that he spends a lot of time with his daughter, and he also spends, he makes sure it goes to her plays and her activities and things like that as well. That's what keeps it in line usually. A lot of these kids are doing this stuff all on their own. Their parent doesn't have time to go to their plays or their things like that, and they basically are groomed because the people that are doing the grooming notice the kids that are left on their own devices. We got to warn more parents, and also, too, we got to fight against the FBI, who is also claiming that parents wanting to have say-so in their child's... Because these people are in their... these are in your home. Your home is your castle. Your children, anything in your home is yours. You should be responsible for it. You should be made responsible for it. And in fact, I can remember that my parents would always try to keep me in line so that they didn't get blamed for whatever it was. You can do whatever you want when you're 18 years old, but when you're under my roof, because they would get blamed for it, not the child. Right. It needs to go back to some of that. It really does. Because this guy says, oh, your duty as a parent is to accept it. No, your duty as a parent is to raise that child so that they're not a burden or something else to the rest of society.
I go a step further. As a parent, is to go to the school, find this little cocksucker right here, and beat the brakes off of that motherfucker right in the parking lot. That's your duty as a parent.
Well, if you find out that he's touching your children or something like that, then yeah. Again, he can say anything he wants to because of freedom of speech. Now that doesn't preclude him from any consequences, of course. But I wouldn't turn to violence right away myself.
Well, violence is the ultimate answer to everything. And I know some people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. But my girls are 30 years old, and if this little fuckwit decided to try to talk to my daughters, even now, the way he does, I'll knock his ass cold out after they get done kicking the shit out of him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
well,
saying?
I was going to say, at that point, that's another thing. Like I say, we're responsible for teaching our children right from wrong so that they can determine this kind of stuff as well.
Well, love means that sometimes you have to be brutal and unforgiving. When you're standing up for those you love, we have to be brutal and unforgiving. Everything in our politics right now is centered around this degenerate low-life shit right here. We are watching the greatest evil known to man happen right before our eyes. These people are advocating for what is the most evil thing that you could possibly do on the face of this earth, to hurt children, and everybody's acting like it's not that big of a deal. And personally, I think...
Well, they're trying to pass it off that way. This is the reason why you get talks like this guy here that I'm featuring. Yeah. Sparky the Welder says, my duty as a parent is to not put my kid in a government school in the first place. Well, the thing about it is our government is supposed to be being run by us. So, government school or not.
Here's a view for you, Laura. All right. A lot of people, and I hear this all the time, oh, well, I don't want to resort to violence. Violence isn't the answer. Well, that's normal. That's a normal reaction under a justice system. When the Constitution is in effect and working correctly, then no, violence is not the answer. But when the Constitution is not brought to bear, and the laws in the Constitution are not enforced, and our government is not representing us, then violence is the only answer. The only thing that will teach human beings to stop being the trash bag pieces of garbage they are is absolute fear. The only way you get absolute fear is to stomp that ass into a mud hole and walk it dry. It's the only way. And it has to be such a resounding ass stomping that everybody else watching says, holy shit, I don't want that to happen to me. I'd better quit being an asshole.
And if they claim any problems, you go to court. Hey, I was just making people aware. I was bringing awareness. Yeah. Thank you, Prowler, for the donation. And he says, Laura and friends, 07 back to cleaning the tarmac. 07, God bless and be safe. Merry Christmas to you. Prowler of Night. Actually, that was who I was trying to think of that gave me the memory sticks that actually made my computer work better. You get one of these. Yep, come on, friend, do a terror. No. Well, like I say, I wouldn't resort to it right off the bat, because that makes you look as crazy as they want you to look, and then they would be pointing their fingers. See how bad they are. See how bad they are. No. But at the same time, you come up on my kids. If I was, now I wasn't actually able to have kids of my own, but I actually have kids that I would protect with my absolute life. My brother's kids, my stepkids, everything like that. If you came up on my kids and my grandkids with that bullshit, I'd be punching you in the throat too. Especially if you would not leave them alone when I asked you the first time. You get one chance when it comes to that.
Carried away and throw out generalizations and say that, well, if you go to the school and stick up to your child, you're being a terrorist and you're encouraging terrorism. That's not what the fuck I'm talking about. What I am talking about is if somebody comes to one of these teachers comes to your child with sexual exploitation, whatever, then it's your job as a parent to address that. Mm-hmm. And yes, that means sometimes whipping some ass, because here's the thing. Here's the reality of it is if enough of us were going to the teachers, and yes, Yes, that does mean take the hit and end up in jail for a little bit. And yes, that's inconvenient, and nobody wants to do that. But the fact of the matter is that if enough teachers were getting pushed back, then enough teachers would say, oh, I'm not doing that. Because the reality is, and here's the real truth, at the end of the day, our children should not be knowing what a teacher's politics is, or what their sexuality is, or what weird shit they do in the bedroom with whatever objects. Our children should not know any of that. And here these people are arguing for all of it like it's nothing.
Hell, I don't even want to know any of that shit.
I don't even want to know what straight people do. But this is kind of my point, too. All of these little faggots are crying because they believe that we're picking on them because they're gay. They don't grasp the idea that we don't give a flying shit that they're gay. We don't care in the slightest that they're gay. It's the fact that they're trying to get gay all over our children. It's the fact that they're trying to show our children about sex. It's the fact that they
claiming they're not.
I'm sorry?
They're trying to do all of that stuff while they're going and turning right around in the same breath and claiming that that's not what's happening while we're watching it happen.
Their sexuality down our throats.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I barely care what the hell their name is. I don't care what they do.
As long as you leave me out of it and you don't touch my children or anybody's children. Children are off limits.
That's exactly the point. Leave everybody out of what happens in your pants. It's between you and whoever you're doing weird shit with and nobody else. The rest of us don't need to know about it. It's not our job to identify you by what weird shit you do or what you want to pretend to be while you do that weird shit. No. And here's the reality of this is what I'm telling everybody is if we don't speak up, if we sit here in our cozy little corners and bicker with each other and pretend like we're doing shit without actually going out and speaking up and pushing back, then we're not doing anything. We're literally not doing anything. We are not tearing down their narratives. We are not changing their minds. We are not addressing the issues. We're not doing any of it, sitting here bickering with each other on Odysee or any other little social media group. If you want to be digital army, if you want to be a patriot, if you want to be an American with values, you have to speak up. You have to speak back. You have to let them know that this is not acceptable, because the longer we sit here and cower and bitch at our TVs without actually doing anything, the longer they think it's okay because nobody's saying anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that people have stopped saying things because people, when they were saying stuff, they would rebut them with, oh, you're a this, you're a that. They started calling names and all this other.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody, and of course they started canceling people too. Oh, this person assaulted me on my job. They would lie about people to get them canceled and fired.
It's not working. And B, the reality is here's the thing. Even in my business, I've had douchebags try to pull this on me where I am with my tattoo shop. And you know what I do?
You throw them out?
Fuck. No, I mean, like, even on social media, I scream, fuck you, go fuck yourself, nobody gives a shit, go punch yourself in the face. I don't bend the knee to these people.
Mm-mm.
I treat them like I don't give a fuck because I don't give a fuck. But I speak up. I don't sit there and take it. I'm not quiet about it. I speak the hell up. And you know what always happens? Every single time it goes away because everybody realizes, okay, this is a pissed off little retard and there's nothing here. And it becomes boring. And it's got to be the same thing with everybody else. Speak the hell up. Speak up. Speak back. Push back. And you know what? If once in a while you got to tap a teacher on the nose, then so be it. But when you stand in the courtroom, you can tell the judge that, hey, this guy was instigating sexual actions with my child. And this will not be acceptable. And if you get time in jail, it's the same thing with the canceling, everything else. I'm not saying that we're going to go out and do something and nothing's going to happen back. When you get into a fight and you throw punches, punches get thrown back. That's the problem that these little leftards have, is they want to throw punches, but they don't want us to punch back. And at the end of the day, if we want to save what we have to take the lumps too. And that's just the facts of it.
Yeah. Let's see.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, indeed, indeed. And of course, evil one of the things that goes along with your argument, because like I say, I try to look at both sides of all of this, and I'm an extremely nonviolent person by my nature as far as that goes, mainly because of the fact that I was raised with it, during my during my small, my younger years and everything like that. But evil can't be, the only alternative for evil is to get rid of it. You can't reason with it. You can't change it. Evil is evil. And really and truly, the only way to get rid of it is to eliminate it. And again, we need to take on the same, I guess, mantra, if you will, as they do, by any means necessary. They keep doubling down. We just keep doubling down. If you got to repeat yourself a million times, if you become a broken record, do by all means.
So I need to address something here real quick, because I see Mr. Pastor Shadowley in the chat, because he just loves to have arguments about everything. So if you don't mind, let me just point this out.
Okay.
I did say when the Constitution is not being affected, when we're not being represented with teachers bringing sex to our children, then yes, it is our responsibility to go push back as well. And if that turns into violence, then yes, that turns into violence. I'm not saying start a damn war. I'm saying sometimes you got to tap a teacher in the nose, because then when it goes to the courtroom, then it's addressed. Then they have to make a decision. And then if enough people are enough problem, then, and only then, are we going to affect change. Teachers, whether it's a tap on the nose or just being right there screaming in their face, we have to speak up. We have to speak out. And guess what? If enough of us aren't willing to step up, if enough of us aren't willing to speak out, then there has to be some other alternative. Because if everybody here doesn't think that this country is worth speaking up and speaking out about, then what is left to us? And that's where my
playing by their rules.
Right.
So yeah, and I don't plan on doing that.
If we're going to divide and bicker like children, then we're not going to unite and speak up together. So we can do one of the two. That's it. That's all we have. So,
yeah, you're answering what he said. I'm going to read what he said in the comments. Weird thought. I heard Constitution, no worky, violence only way. I must be tripping.
Right.
Well, like I say, that's the reason why the First Amendment is the First Amendment and the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment, in case the First Amendment doesn't work.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. That's exactly the same point as the Founding Fathers, everything. But there's nuance. There are things to have discernment about. Everything is not black and white, all or nothing. There is gray area everywhere, and it has to be navigated.
Yes. Well, there's gray area as far as they're concerned. I think they conflate a lot of this stuff, and you hear the doublespeak and all this other stuff that they try to confuse people with. They create the gray areas. We know right from wrong.
Right.
Our God commands us and tells us what's right from wrong as far as all of that goes. So the gray area is actually created by them going in and saying, well, this isn't really what it means, and interpreting the Bible in their own way, or not at all.
People need...
Yeah.
So, yeah.
God's word is God's word, and God gave us all of his word, not just the convenient parts.
Right. Not just the ones that are convenient to us. And actually, to be honest with you, if you're that into it, it's not all that convenient.
No, it's not.
But I will not have someone else that is either an atheist or not even a part of it attack me with my own religion, or I don't even really want to call it a religion, my own beliefs.
Oh, yeah. Well, even me, while I'm sitting here getting emotional and cussing left and right, like the whole time I'm thinking to myself, okay, you need to figure out how to clean that language up, which is a hard thing to do. Completely changing, especially once you're 50 years old and you've spoken a certain way your entire life. Rewriting your vocabulary is very inconvenient.
Yeah, well, not to mention the fact that they've made it popular. I mean, every movie, even in the TV now, I'm watching stuff on that they would put on broadcast TV, and you had De Niro get up on the awards show with the F word, and Carlin started it, but it was a matter of free speech as far as that goes. The 7 words you can't say and all of that, but that was his point. And to be honest with you, I think that God's more concerned with you blaspheming him or using him to make money or whatever it is like that than he's more concerned about language.
Well, I agree, but God is also there's three that I from everything that I read, the overview is that there's 3 primary points. One, of course, is your relationship with God is first and foremost. Even if you're a horrible person, if you have a relationship with God, you have the start.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't mean you're carefree and everything's paid for, but at least you have belief. At least you have the relationship with God. Then your second thing is after God, starting to build our relationships with each other. How we treat each other counts just as much in God's eyes as our relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally that high up on the food chain, of importance. And then the third thing is that God's number one priority is to purify us, to cleanse us, to leave us better than he found us. I mean, that's really all God wants for us. If everybody would think of your relationship with God exactly like a father and a child, like literally like a father and a child, like a loving father, if everybody would think of it like that, then what is everything a good loving father wants for his children? He wants to teach them to not be idiots. He wants to have a good relationship with them, and he wants them to love and get along with each other as well.
Well, I always thought the bottom line there was that each father wants their children to be better or have better than they had.
Well, yeah, similarly, but I mean, how do you have better than what God had? I mean, he created everything, so that's not really an apt way to put it.
I don't know.
He is everything.
I was going to say his experience here on Earth wasn't that great, if you ask me. I mean, they did hang him on a cross after persecuting him most of his life. So, yeah, his experience here on Earth wasn't all that great, if you ask me.
Pastor Shadowley says Christ and Paul were vulgar, and there's no scripture saying that you can't use vulgarity. Doesn't mean you should engage in it willy-nilly, but there's no real biblical argument against it.
Right, exactly.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly, because these are things that, I specifically, you start out, when you start studying and really digging into the Bible, when you really get lost in the Word, you tend to, start with the easy topics first and then go from there. But here's my concern with it. My concern isn't so much what words you use, it's what you allow in your heart. Just like when Christ is talking on the Sermon on the Mount, and this one keeps coming up over and over again. But in Luke 6:45, from the good treasures of a man's heart does a man speak good. From the bad treasure or the evil treasures of a man's heart does a man speak evil. For the abundance of the heart does a man speak. And that's really true, because, whatever your intent, even if, like, for some of us that allow ourselves to get overly emotional, overly engaged, and emotionally invested into, something like dealing with pedophiles. And yes, pedophiles should have, ropes
they should be cursed
that lead to millstones.
Yeah, the pedophiles, people that hurt children and animals should be cursed.
Right, but it's still not acceptable to maintain evil in your heart about it. Take care of it for just reasons and just cause, but don't allow yourself to become evil and vengeful while doing it. And I think that's really what the biggest concern is how far. Oh, okay. So Pastor Jadaway says, I would argue calling a kid fucker a fucking kid fucker is something good from the heart. Well, first and foremost, I could never pass judgment on you, Pastor, for saying that, because that is something that flows out of me like the fountain of youth. It just flows like Niagara Falls. So those are my favorite words these days. If you follow me on Twitter, Mr. Adam Schiff is very clear on those being my favorite words. But I also agree that speaking up is the point. We're supposed to call them kid fuckers. We're supposed to, but I don't think that's vulgarity so much as it is that is incendiarily truthful, if you can understand that.
He says, I can see verbally cursing them, but we're commanded to forgive them, even them. But are we commanded?
Right.
Are we commanded to allow them to continue that kind of behavior? I mean, how many? Aren't they still like responsible for that? Yes, we forgive them. We know that they're human, etc., and etc. We know that it's evil and all of that, but
here's the thing:
don't we hold them accountable at the same time?
You can forgive a fox for getting into your hen house. That doesn't change the fact that you need to shoot that little fucker. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
You can forgive a rattlesnake for being a rattlesnake, but that doesn't mean you don't have to kill it too.
Right.
Or more important, and in some cases where it's a little more nuanced, you might have to forgive a rattlesnake for being a rattlesnake, but realize that you also can't ever trust it with anything more than being a rattlesnake.
Right. Just like that story Trump told. You knew what I was, silly woman. Pastor Shadow says, nope, we're commanded to stop it. Occupy until he comes. Be salt and light. The government doesn't bear the sword in vain.
Right. Never bear the sword in vain.
Right.
But
okay.
That's kind of my point, like even with the teachers. First of all, when everybody that is, and follow my logic for a minute here, when everybody that is supposed to be explicitly our government no longer recognizes us as government, or more importantly, they are no longer recognizable as government and or representing us, then we are the government. But based on God's word, that Constitution was written top to bottom on God's word, literally, piece by piece. All right? So part of God's word, and it spells it out in the Bible, and if you watch, thanks to Pastor Shadley, the American Heritage series, which explains it, we the people, of the people, for the people, by the people, is part of God's word as well. Self-governance, we are the ones that are in control. So yes, sometimes in some instances, the wrath of the government on God's behalf does have to be raised. The sword has to be swung.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my point. The only thing is this is really my thing. My biggest worry in all of this is I think that we're going to come to a point where we're going to be called to do terrible things. And I accept that. If that's where we go, and I'm not trying to blackpill, but I think that if we get called to do these terrible things that we may be called to do because stupid doesn't seem how to figure out how not to be stupid, we do these terrible things according to God's law and God's rule. Mm-hmm. And even if we have to do terrible things, we cannot have hate and vengeance in our heart. Even though it might seem easier, it'll be easier to do these terrible things if we temper ourselves with hate and vengeance. This is something that we have to guard against.
Yep. The problem with we need to attack those responsible is recognizing that we are the ones responsible. In a way, yeah.
Yes.
Because we continue to allow it to happen. We've been silent about it. We've been tolerant about it. Because this is another thing that they try to use against us as far, well, Jesus would have did this, Jesus would have did that. Well, how do you know? You know, no, Jesus wouldn't have did that. You need to fight back even with that kind of thing.
Right.
Because
So
they don't know.
that.
They're just trying to get you to agree with their debauchery in the name of our Lord.
Right, but let's consider something for a minute. If we are all, as we're instructed, if every single one of us are brothers and sisters in Christ, if we are all brothers and sisters as God's children, then we are also commanded to hold each other accountable, to correct each other.
Mm-hmm.
To correct each other. To hold each other to the letter of God's word. It is our jobs and our responsibilities to love one another as we love ourselves, which includes correcting and upholding each other towards that level of righteousness that we all aspire and hope to someday achieve. So when people are wrong, sometimes, let me tell you something, even, in my past, there are things that I have done that I was dead wrong for, and I took an ass whooping for it. I got dotted in the eye a few times. And you know what? I didn't like it then, but in hindsight, those were people who put me on a better path, who taught me in some cases, very hard lesson, but a lesson nonetheless. And I couldn't be where I'm at today without those lessons that come along. So sometimes we have to correct each other. Sometimes we have to speak up to each other. And sometimes we have to go as far as to dot each other in the eye. Now, is that violence or is that love? But that's an argument to have.
Well, I've always been of the attitude that if you love someone enough, you'll tell them the truth. No matter how much that seems to hurt, because of the fact that you know that person's going to get hurt by the lies, and you try to avoid that. Now, that doesn't always work, but if you love somebody, you actually care enough about them to let them know, hey, man, you're fixing to fuck up.
Right.
Hey, man,
and
something's going to happen if you don't be careful,
Or divided because of that love, because of that screw up. You want your love for everybody, not just one.
Right.
And my number one point of view in all of this is we can pull each other together, hold each other accountable to truth and righteousness according to God, not according to ourselves, and that we can unite and speak in one voice, speak in unity towards a greater good, to the protection of each other, to the protection of our loved ones, to the generations that come behind us, then that's where we should be all focused on going. And if I can help accomplish that in any way, shape, or form, that is my number one goal in life.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's not always the most convenient thing in the world either. Not to mention the fact that people are going to fight you every step of the way. In fact, like I say, you get these people that you tell them, hey, man, this is the wrong thing to do. Whether it's a religious type of thing or not, it's just, right or wrong against your fellow human.
Right.
I mean, but they're going to, the first thing that they come out, well, don't you push your religion on me. Don't you push your shit on me. Da, 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 da. It's like, oh, you don't want to be cool to these people. You don't want to be seen as a good person rather than this schmuck. But most people, they've got the righteousness, and it's me, and everything like that. That's what I say.
You know what I do? I'll tell them, well, you know what? I'm going to talk to everybody, and we're going to stop having our Christianity months. We're going to stop having our Christianity parades. I'm going to tell everybody that they can't put their Christianity flags up everywhere or wear Christianity pins and Christianity-colored clothes and all that. We're just going to tell everybody that they cannot have this Christian symbolism everywhere, and it just needs to stop. Oh, wait a second. That's not the Christians doing that, is it?
Nope.
So who's pushing what?
Right, exactly. Well, as I say, they tell us that we're pushing our Christianity on them, yet they say, you have to accept me because I like to take strange sexual, I like to mess with kids, or you have to accept my they turn it into something justifiable.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that's where we need to look at them. It's just like, when I was growing up, it's the same thing. Somebody, I tell somebody, well, you should be nice to me. And they look at me and go, why? Why? Why do I have to be nice to you? Why do I have to love you? No, I don't have to do none of that. When I was a kid, let me share a story with you real quick because you'll appreciate this. When I was a kid, I had to live with my grandmother in Ohio for a while. And I was 8 years old. I had screwed up. And my grandmother never asked us to go cut our own switch. She came with one prepared. My grandma had a whole bunch of FAFO. And us kids, she liked weeping willow switches. She could hit us 3 times before she even caught up to us. Yeah. So one afternoon, Grandma switching my ass. And good, because Grandma don't mess around when it comes to switch time. And I looked at her and I said, "You don't love me," and I screamed it at her. And she stopped dead cold with the biggest, flattest poker face you've ever seen on a person. She looked me dead in the eye and she said, "Well, maybe you ought to make yourself more lovable." And she dropped that switch on the floor right at my feet and walked away. And I'll tell you what, that has been one of the biggest lessons that has ever been implanted in my head from all the way back at 8 years old. It has stuck with me every day till today. If you want someone to value you, you have to give them something to value. If you want somebody to love you, you have to give them something to love.
Yep, and I think that's one of the reasons why they're teaching kids to not love themselves, to try and change themselves, to try and be something that they're not, that they were not made to be. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't give from an empty cup. You can't give from an empty vessel.
Amen.
And if you don't have respect for yourself, you're not going to have respect for anything or anyone else.
And if you live life understanding that you cannot eat at someone else's table without being willing to work in their garden, as a metaphor as well as literally, then it puts everything else in life into perspective. When you realize that someone else isn't putting forth value, it doesn't bother you because you owe them no value if they're refusing to put forth value.
Right.
You also recognize that if you have not put forth value and somebody is not valuing you back, then you recognize that you didn't put forth value. The problem with a lot of these little degenerates is that they don't understand anything about value, and they think that the world is supposed to love them automatically and give them participation trophies even when they didn't participate.
And that's not valuable. They even know that deep down inside that's not valuable. That's why they try to fill it with all this other stuff like the coffee bars and the meditation rooms and the all the bullshit that they're getting at some of these tech companies and stuff that mean nothing and really are a waste of money.
Right. And in reality, we need to shut down the corporate control of our world and bring back the dinner table, bring back the family unit, because that's where you're going to find fulfillment. Being bigger than yourself for your family is way more fulfilling. Endeavoring and tribulating in love is way more fulfilling than having an unfettered life where you can commit any act of, sins of the flesh that you want. And that's the problem with most people now. They are unhappy because they are unfulfilled.
Yeah. No hope. A lot of them don't think that anybody loves them. And it's from people like this that literally convince these kids that, oh, you're different and you don't have to listen to your parents and your parents don't really love you. They don't really care about you because they won't just accept anything that you throw out on the plate. And things like that, when they're actually the ones that are supposed to be guiding you through this life. Yeah, if you're that way, fine. But there's more to life than just being that. You know, if you focus everything on just that one thing, you're going to end up like, actually, I don't know if you just saw this. You're going to end up like that 25-year-old advocate that just suddenly died. I just saw that on Twitter a little while ago. I don't remember the person's name, but they had purple hair.
I keep seeing one after another of these little dumbasses are dying left and right. And they don't get that they're the ones being targeted, but let me hit you with a concept, and I think this is really the most important thing. All right, you know how when you have your family, when you have an actual family and a home and a dinner table, you know that you have something bigger than yourself that you belong to, right? So think about this. When you are steeped in God's word, and when you are a follower of Christ, not of the church, but an actual follower of Christ, you can go anywhere in the world and fall in with other followers of Christ and know that you belong. That even though you just met these people, they are still your family as well.
Yep, that's what it's always felt like. Well, in the right churches, yeah. In the right churches, yeah. There's been several that were not right for me.
Right. There's, like I said, there's a difference between following God and following church.
Right.
You can go to a church that also follows God, but you can't follow a church. Or more specifically, you can't follow a church and God. You got to do one or the other. So the point is, though, is imagine being connected to that big of a family. That's my whole point in all of this, is if we united in God's word, you can literally go anywhere.
Well, that's why the pond is so important. And I watch it grow every day.
I agree. I agree that the pond is very important. I agree that Pastor Chatelet is in the right spot at the right time. And I want to see everybody pull together and build and unify.
Well, we seem to be doing that pretty good with our unwoke and pure blood people on the schedule. We just need to keep adding to it. That's all.
Right.
But we all seem to have the same message. You know, we pull up this stuff and say, this is absolutely crazy. It's ridiculous. Don't listen to it. God's the answer, not these fools that think that they're all important.
Right. God absolutely is the answer. But it's also, like I said, too, the inconvenient parts as well as...
Still there?
No, I left.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you got cut off.
No. I'm just trying to read the chat.
Oh, okay. Well, now I didn't get a chance to finish this guy's video, but you pretty much know the gist of it. He's trying to talk to parents and tell the parents, let me do the teaching. You parents need to not be involved in anything except for changing your attitudes about your religions and all this. No. Yeah. No. And of course, this is the same guy that probably would say, oh, you're forcing my religion, or you're forcing your religion on this child. No, this is part of life. This is part of the guidance. He can choose whatever he wants, but it's my duty to let him know everything that's out there, not just your bullshit, not just anything else. They need to know everything. Tell them the truth. And of course, God should be the basis of that, but it's not always. But at the same token, as a parent, you're the one that carried this child around. You're the one that pays this child's bills and medical payments and all this other stuff. You're the one that's responsible for this child, not this teacher. Right. This teacher's not. In fact, I would guarantee that this teacher right here doesn't have any children of his own. And if he's admittedly openly gay. And the thing is, this is what bothers me. They introduce themselves before anything else as their sexuality or their preference or whatever. And that was always my question. Is that all you are? You don't have any hobbies. You don't have any other lifestyle, anything. That's all you are? You must be so miserable.
And that's one of the things I was going to point out, too, is I have some video from some gay people, because I've seen this in the real world too. Like, I know some gay men, they're customers of mine, that if they didn't tell you that they were gay, you would never have a damn clue. You would never know. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Not a word. And I have videos of some of these gay guys that say the same thing. How sad and pathetic are you that your entire identity is that you're gay? You know, they say, like, I have one guy video, he says, I love who I am. I love, you know, the fact that I'm gay, but that's just such a small piece of who I am. And for these people that make that the entirety of their life, like, that's just a horrible thing. And it's not important, you know, and that's one of the things he points out is not only is it not important that everybody agree with you, but also if you're busy telling everybody else what a piece of shit they are for not being gay, then how are you expecting anybody to want to tolerate you?
Right. Well, not to mention the fact that it's like I say, it's like they're beating you over the head with it. They tell you that immediately so that they can judge you based on your reaction. Yeah. They're immediately judging you. Well, that's like that girl that had the underarm hair with the shaved head. She made absolutely no sense because she said, well, I don't shave my underarms because A, the patriarchy, and B, I'm lazy. But you weren't lazy enough to shave your entire top of your head? And then she says, well, your reaction to my underarm hair tells me everything I need to know about you. I was like, well, what's to say that nobody's going to get near you because of the way your head looks first? Because, I mean, she really looked like an alien. But she was more worried about her armpit hair than shaving the top of her head and looking like a weirdo that nobody really wanted to approach anyway. I mean, it's kind of like that. Accept me or else I'm going to judge you. And this is what I'm going to judge you on. And that's ridiculous. And again, you are a very lost, very miserable person if you are that one-dimensional. You might as well just go make yourself into a robot or a battery.
Well, or an NPC. Oh, wait, they are NPCs.
Exactly. As I say, a robot or a battery. That'd be about the only thing that'd be good for.
The message that I keep giving over and over again to these little dirt bags is that nobody cares that you're gay. Nobody cares if you have a vagina or a penis or Black & Decker adrenal. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah. Why would you even want to bring attention to that in the first place?
Right. But here's the thing. Everybody does care that you're a shitty person.
Or if you're messing with children.
Right. Everybody does care if you're messing with children. That's the stuff we care about. Nobody hates you because you're gay or whatever bullshit you want to pretend to be. We hate you because you suck as a human being.
And actually, we're commanded not to hate the person. We hate your sin. We hate the way that you act. We hate the way that you treat others.
It's right, but I'm saying that the message is that they need to understand that it's their shitty personality that's ruining everything, not the fact that they're gay or not gay. I would encourage all of my gay friends to come to church. I know a lot of gay people who believe in John 3:16 wholeheartedly. And maybe they're still sinners according to God, but they're also still believers. They have to reconcile that between them and God, but at least I'm helping encourage them to take a step closer.
Right. It is a personal... I was going to say, so Heather says some people do shove their religion down your throat. And I've never encountered anybody like that per se. And I've seen people get excited about it. And because your faith... I'm not going to call it religion because faith, religion, and God are three separate, completely different things. But because of your faith, a lot of people will talk about it and say, this is what's been done for me. And they genuinely want that for others, which is the right thing. Now, shoving it down people's throat, and of course, Pastor makes a good rebuttal to that. basically those people are either don't serve Christ or they don't understand him. Yet they still want to be a part of something, so that they're going to try to fake it. In a way, I've seen plenty of those people too. But I've never seen anybody actually shove it down your throat. They're, like I say, most of the times, according to their beliefs and according to their faith, they'll tell somebody, "Hey, man, my faith, my religion doesn't believe in what you're doing, and it's wrong. And I would like to see you, I'd love to see you, be joyous with us and be promised the Holy Land and be promised the eternal life like us and everything like that. But that's still up to you. All I can do is share my personal experiences with you." And that's actually mostly what faith and your relationship with God is. It's personal. You can't really do anything other than explain some of the things that have happened in your life because of what you believe, or who's there for you, that he's there for you and everything like that. The only thing you can do is plant the seed and tell the person, "This is what's happening for me. I would love to see this joy happen for you. And this is how I did it." I mean, it's like sharing a diet in some cases, but each individual has to do it on their own. It's an extremely personal thing and personal relationship. Yet we can still congregate over it and are encouraged to.
Yes. But also keep in mind that many of these same people who swear we're putting our religion down their throats.
No, not at all.
The same people who are screaming that math is racist, or getting pissed off because they think that the empty fuel light coming on their vehicle is somehow offensive. And the reality is that it's information.
Yeah.
And nobody's pushing it off. Somebody says that. And I watched this. I'm trying to think of his name. He's one of the guys that goes out on the street and does apologetics. But he pointed that out, too. This one little lesbian girl screaming, "Why are you pushing your religion on us?" and the whole bit. But she never accounted for the fact that she went to where he was speaking so that she could claim to be a victim. And he pointed out that all I'm doing is sharing information. You have the ability to walk away.
Sure.
But I point this out to everybody too, because I've had a few people when I've gotten to this conversation, and I've told them like this. I said, if you knew where everybody could go and get $1 million in gold each, would you tell the people that you care about how to get there so they could get their $1 million in gold? And of course they're like, "Well, yeah." I said, well, if I know the greatest proof, and throughout eternity, the greatest truth ever that will save your soul forever, and I care about you, why wouldn't I tell you about it?
That's a fantastic analogy right there.
Yeah. And when you put it like that, a lot of them realize that, wait a second, he's saying he cares about me. Well, how do I shoot him down for that?
That he cares about you, or that you care about him?
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't care, you wouldn't say anything. You just let him go about his business and not.
When you hit realization that you're expressing care about what happens to them, then it's harder for them to come back with any kind of aggressive views. See what I'm saying?
Sure. And even if they do, that's on them. That's their problem.
Right. Well, here's 2 points that everybody should remember when dealing with Joe Public. Specifically right now, currently, only about 20% of the population actually have the ability of critical thinking, like real critical thinking, not this political bullshit that they're trying to pull.
Yeah, I know that's right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's just a statistical fact.
Actually, my brother-in-law calls us the true 1%.
Right. Well, even many of the people that are kind of falling down into NPC land, they're on our side of the fence too. They're just not going to understand what we understand, what some of us understand. They're not going to see the bigger picture, and that's just the facts of it. So the best you can do is try to figure out ways to influence them towards something better and greater. You're only going to get them, always encourage free thought for sure, but always encourage free thought, with the acceptance that not everybody's going to be that great at it.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was going to say, isn't there something in the Bible that says that God already takes care of those types of people? The ones that don't have the crippled, I guess you could say the mentally ill, or people. People that are like.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about regular people. There's those who won't see, there's those who don't want to see, and then there's those who just can't.
Right.
And then there's a distinction too between like being able to see and being able to understand. Because there's a lot of people that see that God is the right way, they just don't completely understand all the details of why. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And I see that, righteous behavior. Like, obviously, it's written on our souls that wicked is wicked. Like, hurting children is wicked. Committing murder, taking of innocent life is wicked. You see what I'm saying? Like, they recognize that, even if they don't completely understand all of it.
Right. Well, that's why I say that's our job as parents for the children, is to teach right from wrong as far as that kind of thing goes. And the other side, you see what they're teaching. They're teaching gluttony. They're literally teaching that the 7 deadly sins are okay. Have you seen some of these mukbanging videos? Pure gluttony.
Yeah.
And actually, they disgust me.
Because it's accountability. And it's truly my belief that the elites are pushing this. They're trying to normalize this kind of degeneracy as much as possible before all of their truths come out.
Right. Well, because of the fact that they're doing the same things, and they want to make it the rule instead of the exception. That's what they're doing with all these minorities. Not to mention the fact, this is something else that I want people to keep in mind as well. They keep flatulating this, that white people are now becoming the minority. And they're saying that minorities are going to be the majority, which is actually a complete conundrum and a complete backwards thing. And from what I remember, minorities have the upper hand. So we need to start using that somehow. Hey, we're the minorities now. You can't oppress us. You become the majority now. We have to fight like the minorities have been fighting as far as that goes. And making it, we have to become... I think that's a one, even though we don't want to be victims or anything like that, I think that's a way for us to infiltrate and actually make things right as far as that goes. But if you're going to make us the minority, we need to fight like the minority now.
Well, yes, exactly. Exactly. And we have to fight. And that's kind of my big issue. And a lot of people think that, like this is some sort of black or white thing, a fight or don't fight. But really, simply speaking up, going out on social media. My biggest thing that I see is that there's many in our circles and all over the place, not just here on Odysee, but all over the place, where people are like, they're meaning and making statements, but within our own circles, within our own echo chamber. We need to go out and make these same statements. Everything that we're doing amongst ourselves, we need to be out doing to the left, doing to our representatives, because this isn't just about, punching the lefties in the face with their own stupidity, which I absolutely adore doing. And I'm sure you've seen a bunch of it. You follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, I actually join in some of those conversations. There's one guy one guy you finally getting people that are telling you that you're a liar now, and it's like, I'd like to see some sauce on your claims here. And when did you learn how to read minds and stuff like that?
Right. Well, the thing is that it's not just about punching back to the pedophiles and making sure they know that we're not going to somehow agree to normalize their degeneracy, but it's also, people like Carrie Lake, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, quite a few others, only a few others, unfortunately. These are the people that we have to get our voices behind as well. We have to cheer them on. Like everything that Elon's been doing. If more of us get behind Elon Musk, if more of us speak up in support of him exposing the corruptions of the FBI and the ex-Twitter and the pedophiles and everything that he's doing, then the more motivated he's going to be to do it. You know what I mean? We gotta be our own team cheer as well.
Oh, yeah.
We have to cheer each other on. We have to inspire each other. And that's part of, even in God's word, we're supposed to lift each other up. We're supposed to bring each other to greater heights, to greatness, towards righteousness in front of the Lord. We're supposed to push our moral values and speak up and inspire others to those greater moral values.
At least live by them so that people can see the example as far as that goes. Yeah. Again, we're never encouraged to force anybody for anything. That's the whole freedom of this. Everyone's given the freedom of choice. The only thing we can do is plant the seed. God does the rest.
Right. Well, I will tell you though, I don't know how much you're paying attention on places like Twitter, and I'm getting a lot of push on TikTok as well, funnily enough.
Oh, I don't do TikTok. In fact, they're actually banning TikTok from the United States, which isn't a bad thing.
No, I agree, but you know what? I just don't want to give them a corner. I don't want to give them a safe space. I don't want them to get their echo chamber, and I don't want us to sit in an echo chamber either, but I want to go out in every corner and push back.
Yeah, well, I'm not noticing much of an echo chamber on Twitter anymore, and I was hesitant even after Elon got on there, but it's actually a little bit of fun.
Right.
And it also gives you the opportunity to it's also given me the opportunity to see more of what the other side has been saying and is trying to convince us of. And boy, are they stupid.
Well, and to step forward and engage them. That's the biggest thing. They've been protecting themselves from being engaged with their own bullshit, being confronted with their own logic.
Yeah, my two favorites to mess with right now are Rob Reiner and Adam Schiff.
Oh, yeah. I've been having a lot of fun on those two morons.
Now, I grew up on Rob Reiner, and he actually acted... It seems to me like that when he was doing this show, it wasn't an act. And he hasn't changed a lot at all. So no wonder he was so good at that part. He actually believed some of this mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, he's socially retarded, so it was perfect for him. But what I was pointing out is that I'm seeing left and right where the digital army is growing. I got, even some of us right here, even in your show right now, they're part of the crew.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, Space Cowboy. Get good sleep and have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, have a good night, man. But yeah, they're all pitching in too, and there's more and more people that I'm picking up, on Twitter where we're all getting together, and not only are we all taking our turn at punching back to their, to their lies and their narrative, but then we're also supporting each other and raising each other up and doing it, and raising each other's word up and inspiring each other. That's
Twitter does seem to be making some strange bedfellows now. In fact, I'm actually following... I'm actually following anybody that's against pedophilia, of course, including the LGBT crew that's on there, as far as that goes.
Well,
I for some reason there's things that come up on my feed that I'm not following, but I'm still glad to see them because it shows me what I'm up against as far as some of this stuff goes and how easy it is to actually rebut some of them.
Yeah. Joe.
He really is a meathead. Yes, he is, Skeletor.
John Cooper, Defiant Dad. Those are a few of the accounts that are paid. They're actual paid shills. These are the real shills. If we're going to go out and shill hunt, then I got a list for you, because these are the real deal. These are guys and gals or bots or whatever the hell they are taking money to put out stupidity. And every single one of them, I do not let a single post go by without giving them a response.
Yeah, something else I've noticed about that too is the fact that they have a small amount of supporters on some of these feeds that they do, some of these threads that they do, but a majority of the people are like, nah, that's wrong, dude, and you ain't gonna get away with it for very much longer. Yeah. So yeah, that's something that, unless it's the algorithm that keeps me in that little bubble as far as that goes, I'm not real sure how that works yet anymore, or if it's even changed. Some people are claiming that particular thing hasn't changed. Again, I'm very new to Twitter as far as being on Twitter. But when I do actually see some of these threads and I have enough time to actually read some of the threads, I literally see more people against some of this stupidity than I do for. So that's actually a good sign, in my opinion.
And there's a bunch of us pulling together. And I will tell you, too, anybody that friends me on Gab, Twitter, wherever, I follow back. Anybody follows me, I follow back. Literally everybody who's following me, I'm following them back.
Yeah, me too, unless it's a retail or something.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of there's a few of them that I follow that don't follow me back either, but because they're bigger names and they don't do follow backs. But I pay attention to every conversation. When I follow everybody back, I'm keeping an eye on the people that are following me, so I see what they post. So I want to know who I'm associating myself with. But also in following everybody back, I see what they're reposting, what they're sharing, what they're commenting on, and that opens up doors to, other accounts that I might want to respond to that, previously I hadn't seen.
Yeah, sometimes responding to some of the bigger ones too actually gets you follows from people that are following them as well. So far I haven't encountered a whole lot of people that follow me just to get me to follow them back, and then they unfollow me so that they can have bigger numbers or whatever. That used to be a problem on Twitter a long time ago.
Oh yeah, but now every time I get on Twitter and I go like full savage and just have a good time being a regular asshole.
Keyboard warrior, yes.
Yeah, I usually pick up 8 or 10 people a night. When I do it, when I stay active. And then I figured out things too, like I never just post memes. I post memes with a thought or a statement to go with it. Things like that. And I try to do everything to provoke a thought or to provoke a point of view, and never just as an insult or a personal attack.
Yeah, I'm not into that either. You've lost the argument at that point. Which actually they do that, and if you don't do that and they do that, they look like the idiots, not us. So, and that's actually one way of fighting them.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of the left, I'm still seeing a lot of people announcing on Twitter that they're leaving the left as far as that goes too, and it's actually just somebody. Sometimes it's just over one subject or one thing. This person wakes up and asks a question, and all of a sudden they get dogpiled on. You're a terrible person, and you're just they start calling them right wingers and all this other bad stuff that they've been taught all throughout the day. And it's like, well, wait, what did I do? They don't realize. And then that's when it seems to dawn on them, hey, man, I may not be a Republican or a right, but I sure the hell don't want to be on that side, because even when you're actually on their side, but you have a question about something, they will cut you in half, or they'll try to cancel you. And it's like they're doing that to their own people as much as they're trying to do it to the other side. And they're actually noticing that the other side refuses to be canceled. So, I mean, I haven't seen people even like Milo and some of those others, they haven't lost their popularity. They've just gone to other platforms and people have followed them. So, you know, it's not easy to cancel these people, except through the people that, you know, that this is normal to. And it's funny too, because they're always telling everybody while they're canceling people, oh, that doesn't exist. Well, more doublespeak, more gaslighting, go right ahead.
Yeah. Well,
you're going to keep losing people that way.
Is first of all, for anybody listening who doesn't know, who hasn't been on Twitter for a while, Twitter, since Elon Musk, is a completely different world. And I have to tell you, every night that I get on Twitter, and I try to do it every night, I try to go through everywhere that I can where I can throw some punches, because I'm just a fun guy like that. I say at least 20 things that would have gotten me permanently banned previously. And now those things go unchecked completely. I told Rob Reiner that, I mean, I had a few sentences together, but ultimately in the middle of it, I called him a piece of shit. And as far as I'm concerned, I was just stating an obvious fact that was not a personal insult. And I said it nicely while I was typing it, therefore I should have not been checked on it. But the worst thing that I have gotten, and I've gotten it a few times, is where they restrict my account for 12 hours to where only people following me will see my post. Now, here's the thing about that. When they do that, they don't make me strike down what I wrote. They don't make me strike down any of the posts that I put up. And when the 12 hours is up, then everybody sees it again anyway, and it still gets moved around in the algorithms. So all it is like take a timeout. It's like them saying, hey, man, you're getting a little hot-headed. Maybe you should slow down. And little do they know that my hot-headedness does not slow down. It doesn't go away, because I know I'm standing on righteousness, because I get my book out every night and I read exactly what God told me is right and wrong. And I stay focused on that, and that's what I fight for.
Yep.
So if
I've actually been warned twice while actually writing a tweet, and it's been both cuss words. So I just put an asterisk in one of the things, and it lets it go through. I don't get the warning anymore.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you got to be a little creative in how you write what you want to say. And yeah, you have to. I mean, there is a line. There is a boundary of what's reasonable, and I get that, and I accept that. Sometimes you have to be creative in what you say, but also understand, like I'm saying, that on Twitter now, it's not like it used to be. If somebody wants to attack you, you attack them back, and Elon Musk, he'll watch.
Yeah, that's funny.
You've been watching me for a while. Do you see how many tweets I actually tag Elon Musk in?
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to answer you one day, because I've noticed he's answered Anomaly. He's answered quite a few people when it comes to all of this stuff. Right. I've even seen him answer Clown World and Cat Turd.
Yeah. Well, he follows Cat Turd. He likes Cat Turd for some reason.
Yeah, what's not to like?
Well, the guy's all right, but I get bored listening to him. He doesn't bring. I like people that bring the heat. I'm picky like that. But the point is, though, is that, 20 times a day at least, I would, in the past would have been completely banned from Twitter, and now I'm going full savage, and I've called Biden and Schiff pedophiles directly to their accounts.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I noticed that none of them ever deny it.
Well,
I've never heard one time ever say I am not, or it's really strange how that happens. I got to tell you, I'm actually enjoying the hell out of talking to you, but you've kept me over for an hour. I'm not complaining, mind you. The show is you guys when you guys call it and everything like that. But I'm surprised how long we've been talking.
Well, I talk a lot.
Yeah, well, that's what this is all about. Freedom of speech. If you can't talk,
Right.
you know, then you know, if you purposefully stay silent, then you're actually agreeing to giving up your First Amendment rights voluntarily, and that's not what we want.
And just so you know, too, Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, what's the other one? Blaze TV, even Glenn Beck. They're all saying the same thing I'm saying, too, that it's time for all of us to speak up, to use our voices, to get the word out, to push back.
Yeah, it's past time. Like I say, we spoke out before, but they all kept calling us names and putting us down and getting us canceled and threatening us and all this other stuff. Well, that shit ain't gonna work anymore. Be uncancelable, be ungovernable. These people aren't gods. And what are they gonna do? Take away your birthday? They don't really hold anybody responsible for anything. That's what we need to do, is hold them responsible for holding responsible what they're supposed to be doing, which is upholding our Constitution and protecting law-abiding citizens.
And what we tolerate now becomes normal to the next generation.
Exactly.
And we are seeing bullshit that we will not be tolerating.
I agree.
Because we will not be allowing this to be normal to our next generation. Amen. Well, it has been a pleasure.
Yes, indeed. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, after the holidays, I can be on your show again sometime soon. Have you got anything new planned for the new year?
I have, well, just kind of really a lot of the same. I mean, it's a new show every time. I just take the topics as they come and you know, keep digging into the Word of God at the same time, try to share what I can and make a point and maybe lead us all to a better place if I can, you know, plant the seed, however that works out. Quite honestly, a lot of times, like I am like my head is blank and I'm an idiot. You know what I mean? I just sit here and stare out in space until God tells me that, okay, this is what your show's going to be about. I know that sounds funny, but that's literally it. Like, I just go looking around and everything tells me what it's supposed to be, and God leads me where I go.
Oh yeah, I'm led in that way myself. In fact, it's throughout the week, and then I put it all together starting Thursday morning, but it all just seems to all come together. In fact, I don't know how much of it you saw, but I went straight from all this climate change stuff with all the different things, including the fact that they're now watching our waste products, our personal waste products, into the what do they call it? The smart toilet with the cameras that actually makes an imprint and saves. Now, they're not only just saving your facial recognition now, they're saving your butthole recognition now. So it's crazy.
Are you kidding?
But I mean, that all of that came together. In fact, after I looked up that particular thing and shared that and was going to share that, put that in my script and everything like that, a whole bunch of other funny butt stuff came up on my feed that I could actually share with you. So I mean, this stuff just comes to me once I get into it. It just I seem to have the same thing as you do, but I think it's because of the fact that I'm allowing the Lord to guide me with it. I give it to Him. I tell Him, hey man, what do you want me to tell the people these days? And he allows me to use my sense of humor as well.
The downside, though, is that though He gave us discernment and the ability to see, it also means that we have to see all the nastiness and degeneracy that we have to warn each other about.
Yeah, well, if we don't see it, we won't know it's there, and we can't warn others about it. That's, that's life. Life is messy. Life is messy.
Well, yuck. So, all right, Miss Ma'am, I will let you go, because if I don't, I will talk to you all night long.
No.
It is absolutely my pleasure.
Okay, well, thank you so much for calling. I do appreciate your insights. I do appreciate your show. Plug your show real quick.
The American Ranch Show, Sundays and Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Central Time. If you are pissed off and you want to get a word in and you want a little guidance from God, I am the place to be.
Reverend Rant. Make sure you check him out and support him. He is also on Rougaroo's schedule. In case you ever forget, make sure to go to the Pure Blood schedule made up by Rougaroo and MBB. Everybody's on there. All of us Pure Bloods and us based people are on there.
So, hold on a second, real quick. Pastor Chatelet says he's been trying to get reinstated. If you need help with that, dude, I will message Elon Musk directly and or Twitter support. Get with me later. Anyway,
You should be able to actually start another account if you want to, but I would want my old account if I could.
He's there's a whole bunch of accounts that Elon said they're still in the process of finishing, but they're offering basically if you weren't a terrorist or an outright pedophile or some other like egregious infraction, then he's offering amnesty to all accounts.
Yeah, and I would venture to say that it takes a while. This particular thing with Twitter didn't happen overnight, so it's not going to be fixed overnight either. So just be patient and keep pushing, keep doubling down, just like we need to. That's all I can tell you.
When he put up the poll asking if he should step down or not, that was actually a bot hunt. He's still in the middle of excommunicating bots from within Twitter as well.
Yeah.
They're working on algorithms to spot the bots, and they're rearranging almost everything that Twitter had. They're completely rewriting, like they're completely rearranging all of it. So there's a lot going on at once. So be patient, but yes, if anybody that wants help, if they have a lost account on Twitter and they want me to help, I can't promise that I have any kind of special insights or power, but I will put forth the effort on your behalf. Just let me know. I got you.
Okay.
I got your back.
Great.
We got your back.
We got to fight them on their own fields. That's why a lot of people didn't leave in the first place unless they were forced to.
Oh, speaking of that, real quick, and I know we were supposed to hang up 10 times ago, but something else I was going to point out while we were talking about Twitter, a lot of these douchebags on Twitter, they're like, oh, Twitter's so bad. Elon's so terrible. We got Elon derangement syndrome now. Now we got to go to Mastodon. We're all going to Mastodon. Hey, everybody, meet me over on Mastodon. Well, the CEO of Mastodon came out and said, no, we don't want your crybaby shit here either. We're not going to bend the knee to you. You can have an account here, but if you screw up, we're gonna smack you.
Good. Yeah, so let's just say it took me. I never could figure out, even when I wasn't on Twitter, how they were keeping above water. Especially seeing all these accounts that would come out with all the special treatment and the food, 3 meals a day, breakfast, lattes, teas, all this other stuff and everything that was all for free on top of their 6-figure incomes. I'm thinking to myself, geez, these people must really be making a super fortune.
Right. They were making money from the federal government.
But it turns out they were being subsidized just like the banks, just like everybody else. So yeah, that's actually... Do what?
Just like Facebook and the lizard man himself, Mark Zuckerberg and his Zuckerbucks.
Yeah.
See, the feds give him butt tons of money, then he turns around and gives butt tons of money to Democrat war chests, and it gets overlooked. He donates 1 million times more than is legally allowed, and it gets overlooked.
Well, because they play the system. They put it in other people's hands. They spread it out and then they do it all. So yeah, they use the loopholes that they've placed for themselves, and then anybody else that's rich that's not on their side or doesn't agree with them, they persecute them for it. Look at what they're doing to Trump. After he told them, "Hey man, you guys don't think I'm doing the right thing? I'm just going by y'all's rules." And he is, because if it was any other way, he would have been under the jail. The IRS wouldn't have let any of that shit go all this time.
And it's taxation without representation.
Indeed.
They're using our money against us, not to represent us.
Right. Well, they think it's
So,
their money.
anyway.
They're just letting us borrow the money if they allow us, basically.
Well, yeah. I mean, you do have a point there. There's another rabbit hole we can go down. Want to go down it?
Nah. Not at this point. We can actually, that might be something for your next show to talk about, though.
I'm sorry?
I said that might be something to add to your next show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, amazing. Amazing how much stuff I'm finding out.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let me let you go or we'll talk all night long.
Okay, everybody. Reverend Rant, don't forget to see him on Wednesday nights and Sunday afternoons. Thanks so much for calling, and I appreciate you calling in. That's the whole point of my show.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
See you next time.
Yeah, all right. Merry Christmas. You have a great night.
Hey, you too. Merry Christmas and God bless. God bless everyone listening.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys.
You too. Good night.
Good.
All right. Oops. Okay. All right, everybody. That was Reverend Rant. Real quickly, this guy, of course, like I say, you get the gist of this guy on the screen here. He's talking about, oh, the parents must take care of the kids. They have to fulfill all the kids' whims, no matter what it is, no matter how crazy it is, no matter how unbiological it is, etc. and etc. My opinion, real quick on that, to be honest, teachers have been so revered over time. Not that a whole lot of them don't deserve it, but we now have folks that are actually taking advantage of that reverence that we have for teachers that actually don't deserve it. And they've entered the profession and think that they're infallible or act like they're infallible and have almost, because they seem untouchable now, these folks have also just decided that they should rule everyone and everything now. No consequences come to them either. If the school boards aren't coming to their rescue or actually mandating this stuff or allowing these people to be hired for this, the unions are protecting them as far as that goes. In fact, those around them are forcefully silenced while their establishments stand firmly behind them. From the New York Post, students banned from taking photos of trans teacher with Z-sized prosthetic breasts. And there's actually even a tweet out there from one of the students. Her name is Bianca on Twitter. She says, students have been threatened with suspension for photographing transgender shop teacher Kyla Lemieux. Now, I was led to believe that this particular teacher was trolling. Is that not the case? Is this person actually going through with this, or are they continuing this farce because of what's going on? This could be just about anything. But like I say, with this craziness, though, others, the majority probably, are being silenced about this. That's a no-no. That's terrible. That's not what this is about. This person can do whatever they want, but they're not exempt from any of the consequences or what anybody else might think or feel either. Each person should have the ability to have their own feelings about this. And, they can say whatever they want. Now, I know this is in Canada, but it shouldn't make any difference where it is. I believe in this for everyone. Everyone should do this. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I believe that the EU is in such bad shape, because they pretty much silence everybody there. In fact, they literally have people undercover watching for cat callers. They got people stabbing each other and all these riots and all this other grooming and everything else that's going on with these gangs and all this other stuff, but they're arresting cat callers. And they're literally undercover watching for these people. Priorities are backwards, if you ask me. Real quick, did you guys know that Larry Elder is actually thinking about running for president? That's kind of scary too, because didn't some Democrat actually deem him the black face of white supremacy? So if you even think about voting for him or even look into any of his platforms, you immediately become a white supreme pizza. That's ridiculous. I wanted to show you a cool mashup. Maybe I'll save it for the next show, because I'm going to try real hard to do a bunch of levity next show if I can. Lots of funny stuff's been coming over my site. Especially now that I got Twitter, it's like, oh my God. Let's see. couple more things. Elon Musk has a question for you. It turns out he actually hosted Saturday Night Live in August, I think it was. And this couldn't be any more true. Listen to what Elon Musk has to say.
I know I sometimes say or post strange things, but that's just how my brain works. To anyone I've offended, I just want to say I reinvented electric cars and I'm sending people to Mars in a rocket ship. Did you think I was also going to be a chill, normal dude?
He's very eccentric, but he's got FU money. Who wouldn't be at this point, especially with some of the stuff that he's come up with? I mean, I'm glad he's using his powers and his money for good things like space and, you know, different cars. And you know, he's actually trying to help the planet as far as that goes, as much as somebody actually could, even with that much money. So yeah, that's to all you haters out there. Did you really expect him to be some kind of normal, just nerd with as much as he goes in on the science and all of this experimentation? Because, you know, these electric cars and things like that, how long did it take him to actually perfect it? And not that it's the greatest thing in the world, but he did reinvent it, or his company did anyway. He had to have something to do with that. He at least hired the people and the programmers and the people that actually, and the scientists and whoever that actually do all of this stuff. He's got to have it in there somewhere. All right. I definitely want to end this live stream with a bit of Christmas spirit. I think you guys will probably laugh your asses off on this one. So here is, to end it in a Christmas spirit, here is America's cousin. I actually don't know who the hell this is, but she just seems like she'd be somebody's cousin. And her dog with their rendition of Silent Night.
Silent night, holy night.
I hear you.
All
is calm. All is bright. Round your virgin and child.
That's hilarious. And the voiceover was absolutely perfect. I love stuff like that. All right, that's about it for me right now. I appreciate all the callers. Don't forget to support all the folks on Rougaroo's interactive schedule. And, of course, you can always suggest others to us as far as that goes. That's always great. We always like to add to our people. We need to come together like like Reverend Rant said. It's time for us to come together and start speaking out against these people. Don't forget, we are becoming the minority, so we need to start fighting like minorities do. Hey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and it's only right as far as that goes. Also, make sure you go into, if you got time or if you're still awake or you got bored or whatever like that, go and see the Drunken Rocky show right now. He's been on for the last, I guess, hour or so with the White Pill Experience. Let me know if you guys have anything you want me to cover. You can email me. You can comment on any of my channels. In fact, YouTube now even has given me the community or whatever like that. I can actually post other things even though I don't have 1,000 followers. In fact, losing followers on both Rumble and YouTube for some odd reason. I'm not even sure why. Make sure it's not something that'll get me kicked off YouTube, but even if it is, whatever. I appreciate you guys all, and thanks for being here. Thanks for all the support, the donations and everything tonight. Don't forget, I am on Cash App. And you can actually support my channel. I've got a membership also, too, on Odysee that you can support my channel if you want, even when I'm not around. Don't wait till I get online because you never know when I'm going to post something. And you never know if you've missed something. Go back and look at my stuff. You can actually binge watch me now if you feel like it. All right. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the phone calls because that's actually what this show is about. Don't forget to send me your clips and commercials for my show or yours. I'd like to be able to add those for the first of the year. Maybe have a little something new, even though I don't plan on changing a whole lot. Thank you for clicking on my little acre of the internet today. God bless you. God bless America. Peace, love, health, and music to all of you. And until next time, AMF.